Chapter 1121. With Qing Yi's strength, no one would be worried about his safety. Since he was with Sima Yue, they felt more at ease. Although his intention was not to help Yue, if Yue died, Little Seven would die too. Hence, Qing Yi would not let anything happen to Sima Yue. At most, he wouldn't interfere with the previous matters. Sima Yue kept Little Seven into the Spirit Pagoda. Then, she took the Bodhi leaf and walked towards the valley with Qing Yi. Sima Yue paused for a moment when she arrived at the restrictive formation. Then, she strode in. Qing Yi's footsteps did not change, as if the restriction did not exist to him at all. Xianxiu He and the people from the Xianxiu clan looked at Qing Yi's back with a deep gaze. Once inside the restriction, the white fog disappeared. It seemed like the white fog could only be seen from the outside. She called Little Seven out, then took out the scroll and looked at it. She still didn't find the figures of Shimin Feng and the others. She frowned. Are they not here? However, Xianxiu He and the others said that they were here. He probably wouldn't lie to him. There are ripples in the depths. We will know once we head in. Seven said, Yes, let's go take a look. Sima Yue kept the scroll. They walked all the way inside and saw some footprints in the valley. They were sure that someone had been here recently. As for whether or not they were from Heartbreak Valley, it was still uncertain. There's nothing here. Why did the doe in Li Er's body ask them to come here? Little Seven held Qing Yi's hand and asked puzzledly. Sima Yue was also puzzled. Although there were some rare herbs in the valley, they were not particularly precious and were not very attractive. At the very least, Shimin Feng and the others, who knew that she had a little realm and a spirit pagoda, looked down on her. That doe ball had stayed in the spirit pagoda with Shimin Li before, so it knew how many medicinal herbs and treasures there were inside, so it definitely wouldn't come for these. However, as far as the eye could see, they didn't see any treasures here, nor did they see any fluctuations from rare treasures. What on earth had attracted that dumpling? There are restrictions in front. Little Seven pointed at the other end of the valley. This restriction was different from the one outside. The one outside had a thick layer of fog, but this one was transparent. If they hadn't felt the same fluctuation, they wouldn't have noticed it. There are many footprints here, Sima Yue said. They are messy in the mud. They should have stayed here before. Then let's go in and take a look. They should be inside. Seven said. Wait a minute. What's wrong, Qing? This restriction is stronger than the one outside. I don't know what is inside. After entering, don't leave my side. Qing Yi reminded Little Seven. Qing Yi, you don't have to worry about me. My strength isn't low now. Little Seven said. Qing Yi looked at Little Seven and didn't say anything, silently expressing his thoughts. Little Seven's heart ached from his slightly melancholy gaze. She waved her hand and said, All right, I know. I will. Good. Go. Qing Yi let go of Little Seven's hand. She pulled a long face and walked to Sima Yue's side. Seeing her smiling eyes, she pouted and said, If Brother Lin Yu wakes up, you will be the same. But he hasn't woken up yet. Sima Yue smiled and said, All right, let's go in. She kept Little Seven into the Spirit Pagoda and then entered the restriction with Qing Yi. The moment they entered, they immediately realized that this place was different. Ancient aura. Sima Yue exclaimed softly as she looked around in shock. You, let me out. Little Seven shouted in the Spirit Pagoda. You, let us out too. Little Dream said. Sima Yue didn't expect to feel the ancient aura here. Her instincts told her that there was an unknown danger here. She thought for a moment and called Little Seven, Little Dream, and Hua out. The rest of the weaker ones stayed in the Spirit Pagoda. When Hua came out and saw Qing Yi, she was still a little scared. If it wasn't for Little Seven and Sima Yue giving her strength, she would have collapsed again. Hua, you don't have to be afraid of Qing Yi. With me here, he won't dare to bully you. Little Seven patted Hua's shoulder and said. Hua nodded and subconsciously swallowed her saliva. Qing Yi glanced at Little Seven and Hua. He didn't care about these little flower kings at all. This lass, she was helping him while living off him. However, looking at the smile on her face, he felt that this was a good feeling. Although there was a sense of a strong woman and a weak man, it was negligible. You, Try and see if we can find their location here. Little Dream said. Let me see. Sima Yue took out the scroll. The information of Shimin Feng and some Heartbreak Valley disciples appeared on it. It meant that they were in the same restriction now. Over there. Before Sima Yue could speak, Little Seven spoke first. How did you? Before she could say the word, Sima Yue saw a few Heartbreak Valley disciples being chased by a few monsters. They ran past them not far away. The ones running at the front were Shi Chun and Nie. In their panic, they seemed to have seen Sima Yue and thought that they were hallucinating. Why would Boss appear in this place? It must be because the spirit energy in his body was almost used up. He was too tired. That's why he was seeing things. Little Dream, Hua, I'm leaving you guys. Sima Yue saw that the two spirit beasts were not weak. Her own strength was not enough, so she could only let Hua and Little Dream go. You don't worry. Hua and Little Dream flew over at the same time. Seeing that the two disciples behind them were about to be caught, Hua waved her hand, and a vine whip flew over quickly. It wrapped around them and pulled them to her side, allowing them to successfully escape from the poisonous mouth of the monsters. At the same time, another vine whip wrapped around one of the monsters. With a strong pull, the monster fell to the other monsters and knocked down the few beside it. The other monsters stopped. When they saw Little Dream and Hua, they stopped chasing the Heartbreak Valley disciples and turned to attack them. Go to one side and stay there. Hua threw the two people towards Sima Yue and the others. She waved her vine whip and attacked the spirit beasts. Little Dream flew in the air. Her hands kept forming seals. Black roses flew out from her hands. Those black roses automatically dispersed when they got close to the monsters. Each petal pierced into the monster's body. And the others stopped. When they saw Little Dream and Hua, Sima Yue and Little Seven not far away, they immediately jumped up. That's great. We're saved. Boss is here to save us. Boss is here. We can finally get out. Finally, they did not have to go around in circles in despair. Chapter 1122. Boss, Vice Valley Lord. They flew towards Sima Yue with tears in their eyes. Please search Yinnet to see the most complete. When they saw Sima Yue, they felt inexplicably relieved. They didn't know why, but when they saw her, they felt hopeful. Although the current situation was very dangerous, although she was alone, they still believed that if she came, she would be able to bring them out. Boss, you're finally here. If you don't come, you won't be able to see us again. And he pulled on Sima Yue's clothes and cried loudly. However, other than crying, there were no tears. Sima Yue was initially worried about them, but when she saw this clown, she could not help but want to give him 2 tight slaps. All right, stop howling. You're disturbing Hua and Xiaoming from dealing with others. She slapped in Yi's forehead and pushed him away. She looked at Shi Chun and asked, Shi Chun, why is it only you guys? Where are the others? We've been split up. Most of us are in a valley in front of us. We don't know where the rest of us are, but most of them are running around like us. Shi Chun said, What's going on? Sima Yue frowned. Why are you here? There's such a dense, ancient aura here. Is there something? According to what Lin said, they shouldn't be in any danger. Why did they encounter such a dangerous situation after being separated for a short period of time? Those are all ancient spirit beasts. Shi Chun said, They are all ancient spirit beasts? Why are there so many ancient spirit beasts? Little Seven asked. It should be left behind by that monarch. Qing, Yi said. Shi Chun and the rest glanced at Qing Yi. Towards this man whose strength they couldn't see clearly, a sense of respect rose from their hearts. At this time, Xiaoming and Hua finished off the monsters and flew back. Yu, it's done. Thank you for your hard work. Sima Yue said. Now tell me what's going on. It's like this. A few months ago, Shimin Feng brought the people of Heartbreak Valley to wander around the remains for a few months without any results. When they reached the valley, Shimin Li suddenly stopped. What's wrong, Liu? Shimin Feng saw Shimin Li stop and asked. Second brother, there are treasures here. Shimin Li pointed at the valley and said. Shimin Feng looked at the white mist and said, "The restriction here hasn't been broken. We can't go in." Tuanzi said that it can let us in. Shimin Li said, "It said that there are good things inside that can greatly increase our strength." When they heard that their strength would increase greatly, everyone was a little moved. Didn't they come to the immortal land to increase their strength? Now that there was a place where they could raise their cultivation, how could they miss it? But the restriction here has never been broken by anyone. Wouldn't it be very dangerous? Shi Chun put forward his idea. Throughout history, opportunities and dangers coexist. The greater the danger, the greater the opportunity. That's right. What's more, didn't Lord Lin say that there wouldn't be any big problems with our trip to the Immortal Land this time? Since Lord Lin said so, there shouldn't be any problems here, right? Uncle Bai, what do you think? Shimin Feng asked Bai Sheng. Bai Sheng was silent for a while and said, "I think we can give it a try. Not to mention whether there will be danger. Even if there is, on the path of pursuing Tao, risks are inevitable. If we avoid it now, we won't be able to avoid it in the future." Lier, did Tuanzi really say that it can let us all in? Shimin Feng asked. Shimin Li nodded and said, "Tuanzi said that it can bring us in." "All right, then let's go in and see what treasures there are that attracted it," Shimin Feng said. Shimin Li came in front of the barrier and placed her hand on the barrier. Soon, a hole appeared on the barrier. "It's done." Shimin Li retracted her hand and turned back to look at Shimin Feng. "Let's go in. Lier, you stay by my side. Xiang Yi, you too." After Shimin Feng finished speaking, he pulled a girl and went in first. There weren't any treasures behind the barrier. It was just a very ordinary valley. The herbs in the valley weren't much better than the ones outside. Seeing this scene, everyone was a little disappointed. Didn't they say that there was a treasure? Could it increase their strength? Why was there nothing? Tuanzi said that it wants to go in. Shimin Li said, "There's a barrier in front." They didn't know what treasure it was, that it actually needed 2 layers of barriers to suppress it. But since they were already here, they couldn't go back without getting anything. "Then let's go in and take a look." They came to the other side of the valley and let Shimin Li bring them into the barrier. Once they went in, they felt that it was different from the outside. "Such rich spiritual energy," they said in surprise. Such rich spiritual energy meant that there must be some kind of treasure here. That was why the barrier formed such an environment. Everyone was very happy. They all thought that they found a treasure. If it could let everyone cultivate, then they could all increase their strength. At that time, there wasn't any ancient aura here, and there weren't any ancient spirit beasts here. Then what happened? How did it become like this? We felt the ancient aura the moment we came in. Did it only appear later? Little Seven blinked her big eyes and asked curiously. "It did appear later," Shi Chun said. "After we came in, we followed the path that Tuanzi pointed and kept walking inside. We found that the deeper we went, the richer the spiritual energy. At that time, when they saw this spiritual energy that was so rich that it could almost turn into water, they were all very excited. If they cultivated here, it would definitely be twice the result with half the effort. They flew for half a day and came to a sinkhole. They found that the spiritual energy was coming from below. What's down there? It actually emits such rich spiritual energy. We'll know when we go down and take a look. There won't be any danger, right? Let some people go down and take a look first." And he brought some people down. After a while, he came up and said, "Valley Lord, it's all mist formed by spiritual energy. The visibility is very low, but there seems to be some caves at the bottom of the cliff. But we can't get close. We're blocked by something. Is it dangerous? It shouldn't be. There are no spirit beasts down there, nor are there any restrictions or arrays." And he said, "It feels like an empty sinkhole, but I don't know if there's anything in those caves." Once they heard that there was no danger, everyone went down and found a place to start cultivating. At that time, they didn't know why, but the spiritual energy here was more than usual. After a few months, many people began to advance, and the problem appeared after everyone advanced. Chapter 11:23. Originally, everything was going well. Everyone advanced and was very happy. And he said, especially the people from Blood Fiend City. After they were poisoned by the Blood Demon Tree, they had not advanced for many years. I didn't expect that they would be able to advance so soon after coming out. What does advancement have to do with this? Little Seven asked. In the beginning, those who advanced were all good. But later on, those who advanced later on couldn't stop. Shurchin said, Can't stop? What does that mean? Those who advance later will form a spiritual energy whirlpool above their heads. That whirlpool will continuously absorb the spiritual energy here into their bodies. Some people will advance by 2 levels because of this. 2 people even had their meridians burst because of this. Shurchin still felt a lingering fear when he thought of that scene. Then why did you stop? You didn't stop until all the spiritual energy inside was sucked dry. Shurchin said. Everyone shuddered at the thought of what would happen after the spiritual energy was sucked dry. What happened after it was sucked dry? What scared you so much? Seven asked curiously. A lot of monsters have appeared. Some have physical bodies, some don't. There are all kinds of them. They're all looking at us from Mountain D, and he said, Yamanori? You mean the Mountain D that I mentioned earlier? Yes, and he said, when we absorbed all the spiritual energy in the sinkhole, we saw a strange stone that seemed to contain a lot of power. Before we had time to study what it was, a dough ball pounced on it. That dough ball should be the one in her body that Miss Lear mentioned. Shurchin said, that dough ball swallowed that stone, and then the nightmare began. When Tuanzi swallowed the formation stone, the restriction in front of Mountain D disappeared. The whole valley seemed to come alive. A strong, ancient aura instantly spewed out. Then the spirit beast ran out and attacked them. Fortunately, Olbai reacted quickly and lifted the ball up. He took the remaining half of the formation stone from its mouth and put it back. However, the things in Mountain D had come to life, and only half of the stone was left, so the suppression on them was much weaker. Right now, those spirit beasts were constantly attacking the restriction in front of the mountain, wanting to rush out. Later, they discovered that injecting spiritual power into the incomplete formation stone could increase the restriction in front of the mountain. Thus, they took turns injecting spiritual power there. The ones that chased after Ni and E and the others were the ancient spirit beasts that ran out at the very beginning. Since Tuanzi can let you in, why don't you let take you out? Those spirit beasts shouldn't be able to pass through the restriction, right? Little Seven asked. Everyone wanted to leave, but we realized that there was an invisible net above the sinkhole. That net trapped the spirit beasts and the Valley Lord. We can't go down and they can't come up. Shurchan said, now, the people below are taking turns to inject spiritual energy, but the amount of spiritual energy injected and the replenishment is not proportional. It won't be long before everyone's spiritual energy is exhausted. Sima Yue was silent. She couldn't go down or up. This was really a headache. How many people are up there? Other than us, there are dozens of them. Because there were a lot of spirit beasts chasing after us, we didn't stick together. Instead, we chose to flee on our own. This way, the spirit beasts can be scattered. And E said, Yu, what should we do now? Little Seven asked. Sima Yue took out the scroll and looked at it. She asked, how are the strength of those spirit beasts compared to the ones chasing you? About the same. And E said. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, Hua, Xiaoming, take this and save the others with Shurchun. And E and I will go to the sinkhole to have a look. Do you still know where that place is? And E saw Sima Yue looking at him and nodded. That place was easy to find and left a deep impression on him. He would never forget it. Then let's go. We'll split up. Xiaoming, Hua, find everyone and follow them. If you can't handle it, don't force it. Contact me, okay? Sima Yue reminded Hua and Xiaoming. We know. Xiaoming nodded. At this moment, she was no longer the same person as before. Whether it was her intelligence or strength, she had improved a lot. Then be careful. You too. Hua and Xiaoming left with Shurchun and the others. They took the scroll and went to save the others. Sima Yue patted Ni and E, who was looking at Xiaoming's back in a daze, and said, let's go too. Boss, Why does Xiaoming feel different from before? And I and E followed Sima Yue and asked as they rushed towards the sinkhole. She remembered something that could change a person. Naturally, she would be different. Sima Yue said, "Why are you interested in Xiaoming's matters? Isn't it because I saw her unconscious before? So when I see her again, I will compare her to before." Boss, can you tell me what she remembered? And I and E said, "Lead the way properly. If you pry into Xiaoming's private affairs, she will make you regret it in the future." Sima Yue said, and I and E touched his nose. You want to see how he would regret it? Sima Yue followed Ni and E and flew for half a day before arriving at the sinkhole they were talking about. "It's here." And he said, "Boss, look." As he spoke, he picked up a stone and threw it down. But as soon as it flew above the sinkhole, it was blocked. A net flashed in midair and then disappeared. "It does look like a net." Little Seven said, "What is this thing?" "This should have been set up by the emperor after he found these ancient spirit beasts." Sima Yue said, "For some reason, those spirit beasts were trapped in the sinkhole and could come back to life at any time. In order to prevent them from coming out and harming people, he set up an array or enchantment at entrance D. He used the thing that was eaten by Tuan Zi to suppress it and set up such a thing in the air. Once the array below is destroyed, the one above will be activated." "That's right. They guess so too." And he said, "But if this is not opened, they can't come out. But if this is opened, those ancient spirit beasts may come out again. I don't know if the restriction outside can stop them. So the best way is to stop them from coming out." Sima Yue said, "Then what should we do?" Sima Yue stood at the side of the sinkhole and observed for a while. Suddenly, she took a step forward and went into the air. At the same time, a net-like pattern appeared under her feet and blocked her outside. Little Seven was still pretending. If it was a few months ago, or if Yu was trapped inside with all of you, there would be no hope. But now, there's no problem. Why? What could be changed in a few months? Because Yu has comprehended her own Tao during this time, and it's a Tao that is connected to heaven. She even comprehended her own domain. Little Seven said proudly, "This is a close relative of the Skynet. Right now, she is trying to establish a relationship with the Skynet. As long as this relationship is established, she can bring you all out." She had actually comprehended her own Tao, and she had even comprehended a domain that only supremacies could comprehend. There was an uproar in the sinkhole. Their Vice Valley Lord was simply a pervert, but it was because of her perverted nature that they had a chance to live. They liked this kind of pervert. Time passed minute by minute, second by second, and a few days had passed. Although most of them had used up their spiritual energy, they were still persevering because they believed that she would be able to save them soon. Chapter 1125. When Xiao Meng and Hua Hua brought the others over, they saw Sima Yue sitting at the side of the crater, controlling the realm and the heavenly net. "Xiao Meng, you guys are back." Little Seven waved at Xiao Meng and Hua Hua. When they flew over, she asked, "Are you guys okay?" "We're fine. Where is Yu?" Little Seven told them about the heavenly net, so everyone waited together. In the crater, the situation was getting more and more dangerous. "Valley Lord, everyone's spiritual energy is almost depleted. This thing requires too much spiritual energy. We can't hold on any longer." Bai Sheng came over and said to Shimin Feng, who was meditating to recover from his injuries. Everyone knew that Sima Yue was thinking of a solution, but if they couldn't make it in time, even if she opened the heavenly net, they would have died in the stomach of the spirit beasts. Everyone understood this point. The atmosphere in the crater was at its lowest point. Shimin Li sat beside Shimin Feng. She felt guilty and tears fell down uncontrollably. "I'm sorry. If it wasn't for me, everyone wouldn't be trapped here." "Lier, it's not your fault." Shimin Feng said, "If it wasn't for my orders, everything wouldn't have happened." "That's right, Miss Lier, it's not your fault. Everyone didn't know what would be here. It was everyone's own decision." Feng Kai comforted. Shimin Li was different from her brother and sister. Shimin Feng was cold. Yue was perverted. They weren't normal people. Only this little girl was obedient and sensible when she was with everyone. They couldn't help but feel pity for her. Sometimes they thought, how could people like Sima Yue and Shimin Feng have such an innocent and cute sister? Shouldn't she be as devious, perverted, and inhuman as her brother and sister? Although this happened because of her, everyone didn't blame her. After all, it was their own choice. No one forced them. That's right, Miss Li don't blame yourself. The others comforted her too. But the more they were like this, the more Shimin Li blamed herself. She hugged Tuanzi tighter subconsciously. Ouch, it hurts! Tuanzi suddenly screamed, giving everyone a shock. This guy can speak now. Everyone gathered around and looked at Tuanzi curiously. The current Tuanzi was no longer as ethereal as before, but as its name suggested, it was still a white Tuanzi. Especially after it ate half of the stone, it became even whiter. Tuanzi, you brought everyone down. Do you have a way to bring everyone up? Shimin Li asked. Tuanzi pretended to be dead, as if it wasn't the one who spoke just now. Go! Shimin Li was angry. She pinched the dough into various shapes with both hands. Tuanzi still didn't move or speak. Tuanzi, if you do this again, I'll cancel the contract between us. Shimin Li threatened. Tuanzi still ignored her. The little girl had been spoiled since she was a child and had lived in the valley for more than 10 years. She was very simple and would not really break the contract with her. However, she didn't know that the more innocent a person was, the more they would do crazy things because of self-blame. Seeing that Tuanzi was still like this, Shimin Li really began to cut the contract between her and Tuanzi, trying to cancel the contract with it. Tuanzi saw that Shimin Li was serious and was shocked. It shouted, Oh, I know. Don't be angry. Shimin Li stopped and said, Not playing dead anymore. Ahem, I won't. Tuanzi hurriedly expressed its attitude. At the same time, it sighed in its heart. Although this girl looked simple, her ruthlessness was really like her sister. Then do you have a way to bring everyone up? Shimin Li asked. This is the Skynet. How can I do anything? Tuanzi said, Oh, don't cry. Why are you crying even harder? Valley Lord, we can't hold on any longer. The people over there shouted. They kept injecting spiritual power into the stone. There were many of them, but they had already used up all their spiritual power. Once the last bit of spiritual power was exhausted, the ancient spiritual beasts locked in the mountain would rush out. Then they looked up at the intertwined white and golden light. It had been so many days. They were afraid that they couldn't wait for the Skynet to open. Roar. They could already hear the roars of those spiritual beasts. At the entrance of the mountain, they seemed to feel that the restriction was weakening and began to attack the enchantment nonstop. Shimin Li was so scared that her face turned pale. If everyone died, how could she forgive herself? Thinking of this, her tears flowed even harder. They dripped on Tuanzi and almost melted it. Oh, don't cry. Don't cry. If you cry again, I will turn into flour paste. Tuanzi protested loudly. If it was in normal times, everyone would definitely laugh at this scene. But now, they didn't have the energy to pay attention to this. Their spiritual power was all used up. If these spiritual beasts came out, they would have no power to fight back. Oh, I told you not to cry. Tuanzi saw that Shimin Li was crying harder and said helplessly, I said that I couldn't bring them up, but I didn't say that I couldn't alleviate the current situation. Everyone heard the last sentence, and they all looked over. Tuanzi, do you have any ideas? Shimin Li asked. Tuanzi saw that the spiritual power of the person who was injecting spiritual power was getting less and less. It was about to dry up. Tuanzi sighed and flew out of Shimin Li's arms. Then it landed on the stone and wrapped the stone in its body. Everyone was stunned by its behavior and thought that it was going to eat the other half of the stone. Just when they wanted to stop it, they found that the inside of the mountain had quieted down. Hey, tell that ruthless woman that I can only hold on for 2 days. Tuanzi snorted. If she doesn't get rid of the heavenly net in 2 days, she can't blame me anymore. Anyway, these spiritual beasts didn't dare to touch her when they came out. Everyone's hearts were temporarily relieved. Although 2 days wasn't long, there was still hope. Fengji contacted Ni and E and the others and told them about the situation here. Ni and E was very anxious, but he couldn't urge Sima Yue. He was almost roasted to death by the fire in his heart. Sima Yue also heard the words just now and knew that time didn't wait for anyone. But the heavenly net was as stubborn as a bull. It refused to cooperate and give way to her. Hearing the situation below, she was also angry. She poured out all her spiritual power, shrunk her domain, and pressed it on the heavenly net. I don't care who set it up, and I don't care if you have the power of heaven and earth. If you don't get out of my way today, I will turn you into ashes. Chapter 11:26. Sima Yue released Crimson flames and fused them with the 12 golden words. The power of the flames increased greatly, and even space was distorted by the heat. Skynet had been here for so many years and had developed its own intelligence. That was why it could fight against Sima Yue for so many days. However, in the face of such flames, it also felt fear. It was a kind of submission, a submission to a power that was stronger than itself. Its heart was crying. It was clearly the darling of heaven and earth. So why was there another one that was even more powerful than it now? Sima Yue did not know about Skynet's internal wailing. She only knew that she had forcefully merged the golden word with Qi Yan's flame, and now her body was being devoured. If this fellow didn't give way, she didn't know how long she could last. Her internal organs began to crack, and her bones began to shatter inch by inch. Her body also began to crack. Are you going to give way or not? Her voice was slow, but it carried a lot of weight. Skynet's little heart couldn't bear it. So be it. Why must you be so fierce? The nets above, snares below, opened up a gap. Sima Yue's territory immediately poured down and surrounded the entire crater. When Little Seven and the others saw Sima Yue in such a state, their tears flowed out. However, in order not to disturb her, they did not dare to cry out loud. When the people of Heartbreak Valley saw Sima Yue covered in blood, they could not help but be moved. What did they do to deserve such treatment from such a person? Rise! Sima Yue retracted her spirit realm and brought everyone out along the way. Roar! When Dough Ball left, it took the remaining half of the stone with it. The moment the formation stone left, the restriction formation outside Mountain D disappeared automatically, and those spirit beasts chased after them. Fortunately, the heavenly net was powerful. With a silver light, the spirit beasts that were chasing after them were all sent flying back. The moment the domain was pulled out, the heavenly net immediately closed. Even if the spirit beasts behind flew up, they would not be able to get out of the sinkhole. PFFF. After Sima Yue brought the people of Heartbreak Valley out, she could no longer support her territory. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, she fainted. Once the territory was dispersed, the people of Heartbreak Valley appeared above the sinkhole. As soon as they lowered their heads, they saw all kinds of spirit beasts below them. They were so frightened that they nearly lost their balance and fell. Yeah. Little Seven and the rest rushed over, wanting to support Sima Yue who had fainted. However, when they saw that she was covered in blood, they didn't dare to touch her. Even Qi Yin couldn't help but come out. He stood at the side and frowned at her. The cries over there woke everyone up from their joy. They looked over and saw Sima Yue covered in blood lying in Xiao Meng's arms. They all flew over. Her white dress was already soaked in blood. The red color dyed the eyes of many men red. Sister, boss, Yue. Although they didn't know exactly what had happened, they knew that she had become like this in order to save them. Now that they were out, they didn't expect to see her like this. Quickly give you a healing pill. No, her injuries are too serious. I don't know when the pill will work. Little Seven said, use my blood. Little Seven cut her finger and opened Sima Yue's mouth. She wanted to put her finger in, but before she could touch her lips, she stopped in the air. Qing Yi grabbed Little Seven's hand with his left hand and wiped her finger with his right hand. The wound disappeared. Qing Yi. Little Seven looked at him with tears on her face. Ching Yi saw her panicked look and sighed. I'm here. Don't be afraid. Don't hurt yourself. After that, he cut his hand and squeezed out a drop of golden blood. He opened Sima Yoyue's mouth and dripped it in. Ching Yi's blood was full of vitality. In terms of healing, his blood was better than Little Seven's. Sima Yue didn't need to swallow. The vitality contained in the blood flowed through her meridians and began to repair her body. At the same time, the healing function of the divine devil body began to work, repairing her body together with the vitality. Her condition slowly stabilized. What happened just now? How did you get injured so badly? Shimin Feng asked. Little Seven and the rest weren't in the mood to talk about things. And he told them everything that Sima Yue did these few days. When he reached the end, his eyes turned red. The other disciples who were saved by Little Dream and the rest were the same. Although they could feel Sima Yue's feelings for them, it was not as shocking as seeing her do it with their own eyes. Vice Valley Lord. Boss. Sima Yue was unconscious. Naturally, she couldn't see their red eyes. However, the faith in her body increased a little. Speaking of which, why is the Vice Valley Lord wearing a skirt? Someone finally noticed. Boss is a girl. It's not strange for her to wear a skirt. He said. The Vice Valley Lord is a girl? No way. Oh my God. Although they didn't want to admit it, Sima Yoyue's current appearance had explained everything. This discovery made them regret their decision. They didn't expect that the person who made them follow so loyally was actually a girl. She's a girl. Then should we call her Young Miss instead of Young Master? The people from the Bird Clan said. Should be. Young Miss is really amazing. She's worthy of being our king's contractor. When the people from the Four-Winged Rocks saw Qi Yin, they couldn't help but kneel down. Qi Yin glanced at them. Just a glance made the puzzled people from the Sparrowhawk clan and the Egret clan kneel down. Lord Divine Bird, the real king of the Bird clan. When Sima Yue helped Shui Qingman give birth in the Little Realm, she didn't let the people from Heartbreak Valley follow her. So they didn't see Qi Yin. Now that he suddenly appeared, they were really shocked. Get up, Qi Yin said faintly, then no longer looked at them. He just looked down at Sima Yue's situation. The people from the Sparrowhawk clan and the Egret clan thought of the Four-Winged Rock and knelt down first. They weren't surprised by Qi Yan's identity. They grabbed the people around them and said, You already knew that our king had appeared? The people from the Four-Winged Rock clan blinked and admitted it. God, you already knew. Why didn't you tell us? Our king didn't let us say it. So don't say it out. Otherwise, if our king gets angry, it will be very serious. Got it. Oh my God, I need to digest these two pieces of news. Me too. The people from Heartbreak Valley saw that the people from the Bird Clan were so abnormal. They were curious about the contract beast besides Sima Yue. They saw that the Bird Clan didn't act like this when they saw Little Rock. This meant that this person was more powerful than Little Rock. Oh, Sima Yue raised her eyebrows and made a sound. Chapter 11:27. Her movement caused the hearts of the people around her to clench. However, after she let out that murmur, she didn't move again. Yu? Yeah? Sister. However, no matter how much they shouted, Sima Yue did not respond. Her injuries were so severe that even with my blood essence, she would still need a day or two to recover. She won't wake up so early. Qing Yi said, Instead of worrying here, why don't you let her lie down more comfortably? That's right. Let's give you a tent. Little Seven said. Let's do it. Shimin Feng and Shimin Li set up a tent for Sima Yue. Then Qi Yin carried her and placed her on the bed. Little Seven, Little Dream, and the rest were accompanying her inside. Shimin Li was also sitting by the side. Looking at her pale face, she felt extremely guilty. This was all because of her. How could she forgive herself? Big sister, get better quickly. She wanted to hold Sima Yue's hand, but it was full of scars, and she did not dare to touch it. Shimin Feng stood at the entrance of the tent. He couldn't bear to see Sima Yue like this. This reminded him of the past. He turned around and went outside. He looked down at the spirit beasts that were continuously ramming into the heavenly net. Valley Lord, look, these spirit beasts are much uglier than the spirit beasts now. The people of Heartbreak Valley were also looking at the spirit beasts at the side of the sinkhole. I wonder who sealed them here. Why didn't they just kill them? Bai Xing asked. I'm more curious about which great emperor set up the heavenly net back then. It's really amazing. Shimin Feng looked at those ugly spirit beasts and said, something must have happened in the past for this to appear. However, this has nothing to do with us. When she gets better, we'll leave this place. Valley Lord, how is boss now? And I asked. In the midst of a stable recovery, Shimin Feng said, although these things have happened, fortunately, everyone has gained something. Although it was extremely thrilling this time, everyone had basically advanced. Moreover, some had even advanced by 2 levels. For people of their level, this was already very difficult. Many people couldn't advance by 1 level in tens of years. They advanced not long after entering, so it was already very difficult. Shimin Feng looked at the spirit beasts below in silence. He didn't know what had happened in the past for so many powerful ancient spirit beasts to survive and even awaken now. Now, they were lucky that they were in the Immortals' land. No matter what happened here, it would not affect them. If they were in the outside, these spirit beasts would give them a headache. Everyone waited here for a day. After a day, Sima Yu finally woke up. Yu, you're awake. Little Seven saw that Sima Yu had woken up and immediately became alert. Yu, Little Dream, and the others surrounded her. Sister, how are you feel? Sima Yu frowned, saying, my whole body hurts. All the bones in your body are broken. Your internal organs are also torn apart. Even your muscles are injured. It's normal to feel pain. Qing Yi said, but it's not bad that you can wake up within a day. Although Sima Yue was unconscious, she knew that his essence blood was still in her body. She said gratefully, thank you. I just don't want to see little Seven waste her essence blood. Qing Yi said, no matter what the subjective reason is, the objective result is that you helped me. Sima Yue smiled weakly. Sister, your injuries are still very serious. Don't talk so much, Shimin Li said. Sima Yue saw her red eyes and said, why are your eyes as red as a rabbit's? You've been crying for the past 2 days, right? Sister, I'm sorry. It's all because of me. I'll accept whatever punishment you want to punish me. Shimin Li bit her lower lip and said self-reproachfully, this happened because of you. But I think you've been suffering for the past 2 days, so I won't punish you. As for what Feng and the rest will do, I don't care. But I'll punish the real culprit later. The dough in Shimin Li's body shrunk its neck subconsciously. Was this ruthless woman talking about it? No, this matter couldn't be blamed on it. It was all those humans who wanted to increase their strength. It wasn't its fault. It wasn't its fault. Dough, do you want to come out yourself, or do you want me to throw you out? Sima Yue's cold voice cruelly broke its self-comfort. Sob, sob, sob. This ruthless woman really wanted to find trouble with it. I'll count to 3. If you don't come out, Sima Yue threatened. Perhaps it was frightened by her that time. Before she started counting, Dough came out of Shimin Li's body. Smart, kind, strong, beautiful, and cute Yue. Why did you call me out? The moment Dough came out, it hugged Sima Yue's leg and started to flatter her. Sima Yue frowned slightly, and Dough was thrown out by Xiaomeng. Dough came back from outside and wanted to hug Sima Yue's leg again. Xiaomeng didn't even look up and said, you hurt Yu. She meant that if it dared to come over again, she would still throw it out. Little Dough stopped 10 centimeters away from Sima Yue, and then came to Shimin Li's side obediently, looking obedient. It was acting so obedient and cute now. Sima Yue probably wouldn't punish it. It was said that women liked cute things. Once it acted cute, a woman's heart would melt. It hoped that this trick would work on this ruthless woman too. Kong Xiangyi's mouth twitched when she saw how obedient Dough Ball was, and how arrogant it was in the heaven pit in the modern world. It turned out that this fellow was a bully. Sima Yue wouldn't be fooled by Dough's trick. In terms of cuteness, it was far from Little Roar. She remembered that little Seven, and Xiaomeng immediately took a pillow for her to lean on. She looked at Dough and said coldly, you already knew what was here, didn't you? Dough shook its head and denied it. What a joke! It wouldn't admit it. If it admitted it, this ruthless woman would definitely skin it. But when it saw Sima Yuyue's eyes that seemed to know everything, it lowered its head and nodded slightly. So you knew. Sima Yue sneered. So you planned all of this? You let everyone help you absorb all the spiritual energy and make them your scapegoat. Her voice became colder and colder, and her tone became stricter. Everyone in the house was shocked, especially Sima, Li, and Do. No, I didn't think that way. Do quickly denied. Otherwise, it would be punished by this ruthless woman. Sima Yue didn't believe it and released a red flame, saying, Really? Then tell me, what are you? Chapter 1128. Do looked at the fire on Sima Yuyue's hand and shrunk back. You're injured. It's better not to play with fire now. And do you know who you are? Sima Yue played with the flame. Are you willing to tell me? If you can't explain it clearly, little 7, I haven't made roasted dough balls for you to eat, right? That one tastes pretty good too. Do you want to eat it? Okay. As long as it's made by Yu, anything is delicious. Little 7 agreed. Do shrunk its neck and looked at Sima Yue. It did not seem like she was joking. Well, I say, you can put away the flame first. Let's talk nicely, shall we? If you get hurt again, everyone will be worried, right? It said with a smile. It's all right. I can still handle this small amount of fire. Sima Yue said, What do you think, or... Speak. I'll speak now. Do stole a glance at Crimson Flame's flames, and he was about to cry in his heart. Vicious woman, bullying it because it was weak now. If it was strong, very strong, it would definitely make her crawl at its feet. Then tell me, my patience is limited. Sima Yue said, What are you? Shimonli looked down at Tuanzi. She didn't know who Tuanzi was. Do felt wronged after being yelled at by Sima Yue. Its body moved and grew 4 limbs, then a head, and slowly, facial features. A tiger? Little 7 looked at Tuanzi. Why are you pretending to be a tiger? I'm not a tiger. Tuanzi protested. A white tiger. If you're not a tiger, then what are you? You can't be saying that you're one of the 4 divine beasts, the white tiger, right? Little 7 stretched out her hand to poke its head. I'm not a white tiger either. Tuanzi was very proud of her identity, but when she thought that Sima Yue had Rosefinch by her side, she couldn't show off in front of her. You're neither a tiger nor a white tiger. Then what are you? Sima Yue asked as she played with the flame. Tuanzi twisted its body, and another head grew out from one side of its head, and then another one grew out from the other side. Xiaoqi blinked, looked at Tuanzi, and screamed, You are not a tiger. You are a monster. I'm not a monster. Tuanzi was sad. It was really not a monster. You have 3 heads. If you're not a monster, then what are you? Little 7 scoffed. No, he wasn't a monster. If you say I'm a monster again, I'll bite you. After Tuanzi's 3 heads were together, its voice was still a little scary. Unfortunately, the people here were not people who had not seen the world. This little bit of aura was not enough to scare them. Ancient divine beast Lu Wu. Qing, he said. Tuanzi turned her head to look at Xingyi. She didn't expect that someone could recognize her. How many heads have you grown? When Qing didn't speak, everyone couldn't feel her presence. Once she spoke, everyone couldn't move their eyes away. Speaking of her own heads, Tuanzi's 3 heads were pulled down. She twisted her body, and her limbs and head were gone. She became the previous Tuanzi. I haven't completely transformed. It didn't touch the heavens. It was really a sad thing. So you are still a Do now? Sima Yue said. Qingyi, what kind of divine beast is Lu Wu? Is it powerful? Little 7 asked. It's very powerful when it grows 9 heads. As for the others, they are just average. Qingyi said. Isn't that the same as 1,000 resonance? When he grows 9 tails, he will be a real 9-tailed spiritual fox. Little 7 said. We already know who you are. Then, Tuanzi, now tell us why you tricked everyone here. Sima Yue said. I didn't say that I tricked everyone here. I just brought everyone here to find opportunities. Tuanzi said without confidence. Are you sure you want to say that? Tuanzi looked at Sima Yue's eyes and felt even less confident. She was afraid that she would throw the flame at her, so she had to tell the truth. I felt that there was an ancient aura here, so I let them in. But I didn't expect there to be so many ancient spiritual beasts here. I didn't know there was a heavenly net above. You really didn't know? Or are you pretending not to know? Sima Yu asked. I really didn't know. I can swear. Tuanzi said, I thought that they could absorb the spiritual power to increase their strength, and I could also get what I want. Isn't this a win-win situation? Who knew that the spiritual power and that thing were used to suppress those spiritual beasts? I didn't expect that only a few spiritual beasts escaped, and the heavenly net was activated. Really? Tuanzi nodded vigorously. My starting point was good, but I didn't think of what would happen next. What do you want? That erase stone? Sima Yua asked. That's not an ordinary formation stone. It's an origin stone that contains an ancient aura. That's why I can smell it. As long as I digest that stone, I will definitely grow another head. Tuanzi said. Speaking of which, you said that you could transform. Why haven't you done it yet? Why are you still absorbing Li'er's spiritual power? Sima Yuen narrowed her eyes. Tell me, if I find out that you lied to me, what will I do to you? Braise? Fry? Roast pork or hot pot? Every time she said something, Tuanzi's body trembled, and she felt that the temperature around her dropped a little. I didn't lie to you. Hee, you're so wise and smart. How dare I lie to you? Tuanzi said flatteringly. Then what's wrong with you now? Why haven't you transformed yet? I just want to improve the starting point of me and Li'era. Tuanzi said, the later I transform, the stronger I will be after transforming. Previously, I said that I could transform, but I could only transform with one head. If I can transform with 4 or 5 heads when I transform, my talent after transforming will be even higher. Li'er can also get more power. Sima Yue didn't know if what it said was true, so she looked at Tsing Yi for help. Since Tsing Yi could recognize Tuanzi's identity, it should know about this, right? Tsing Yi nodded, indicating that it was true. Well, I'll believe you for the time being. Sima Yue said, I've asked clearly. Now I need to think about how to punish you. Tuanzi shrank its body towards Sima Li and said weakly, I said I didn't do it on purpose. You still need to be punished. Sima Yue said, then how are you going to punish me? Tuanzi shrank its body into a small ball, obviously frightened. Chapter 1129. Shimonli lowered her head and sat by the bed. She waited anxiously with dough ball for Sima Yoyue's final verdict. Although she was also very angry with Tuanzi, she was still with Tuanzi. If her sister really wanted to punish Tuanzi, she would bear together with it. Tuanzi was very scared, but when he felt Shimonli's thoughts, he felt a lot warmer. I just don't know how this vicious woman will deal with me. Truly, one had no choice but to lower one's head when under someone else's roof. It was too tragic, but after waiting for so long, she still didn't say anything. Was she thinking about how to deal with him in her heart? The longer it waited, the more scared it became. Boo-hoo, this vicious woman was too evil. Just when everyone thought that Sima Yue would punish Tuanzi severely, she shrank back and said, I'm tired. He would leave the punishment to Feng Er. Li'er, bring it to your second brother. What? Shimonli and Tuanzi looked up at the same time. Did she mean that she wouldn't punish it? Could it be that this ruthless woman's heart has changed for the better? Tuanzi thought. But looking at Sima Yoyue's pale face, she was indeed tired. All right, this was even better. That cold second brother was actually much easier to talk to than this smiling tigress. Sister, have a good rest. I'll take Tuanzi to find second brother, Shimonli said. Go ahead, Sima Yue said with her eyes closed. After Shimonli left with Tuanzi, Kong Sengyi said, You don't want to punish it, do you? Sima Yue opened her eyes and said, I don't have the energy now. Then why did you pretend to be so scary to scare that little guy? Aren't you worried about Leah? Sima Yue sighed and said, I didn't know anything about that little guy, and now something like this happened. If it's a ferocious beast, I have to think more about it. Kong Sengyi shook his head. You're the elder sister, yet you're already in this state. Don't worry about it. But they're really fortunate to have an elder sister like you. When you and Feng Er get married, I will officially be your elder sister. Sima Yue closed her eyes again. Her body was still very uncomfortable. Seeing her like this, Kong Si stopped teasing her and said, "Rest well. You don't have to worry about anything else." Sima Yue responded weakly and fell asleep again. Although he would lose consciousness while sleeping, his divine devil physique would be able to display its full potential. As for how Shimin Feng would punish Tuanzi, she didn't care at all. Sing Yi looked at Sima Yue with a different expression. He was accepting her bit by bit. When Sima Yue woke up again, 2 days had passed. This time, she had almost recovered. Sing Yi, your vitality is really good. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have recovered so quickly. She stood up, stretched, and said to Sing Yi, who was drinking tea in the corner of the tent. With your physique, it won't take long for you to recover, Sing Yi said. But without you, I wouldn't have recovered so quickly, Sima Yue said. She went into the spirit pagoda and came out immediately. When she came out again, she had changed into a dress and looked much more energetic. Kong Sengyi came in and saw her in a long dress. He said with a smile, "I'm used to seeing you in men's clothes. I'm not used to seeing you in a dress. Then you'll get better after seeing me a few more times. Will I wear women's clothes in the future? Well, since others already know, it's meaningless to wear men's clothes." Sima Yue said, "That's good too. As a girl, it's better to dress up prettily. It's not good to wear men's clothes all day." Kong Sengyi said, "Your words are quite similar to senior sister. Oh right, the restriction isn't broken. How did you come in? Where's Miao Shuang and the rest?" "Xian Xiu, he helped me in. Senior sister and the rest are waiting outside." Sima Yue said, "If there's nothing else, let's go out earlier. If we don't go out, they'll be worried." "Okay, I'll go inform everyone and call them back." Kong Sengyi said, "I'll go out with you." Sima Yue came out. The people from Heartbreak Valley saw that she had woken up and surrounded her. "Vice Valley Lord, you're finally awake." Everyone was worried to death. "Vice Valley Lord, thank you for saving us." Bai Sheng looked at Sima Yue and asked, "Are you all right?" "I'm all right now." Sima Yue said, "Why are you all here? Why didn't you walk around to see if there are any treasures?" "Fu Yi and the rest have gone. We're waiting here. We'll see if there are any strange beasts." "Did you see anything?" "Yes." "What did you see?" "The spirit beasts in the ancient times are uglier than the ones now." Sima Yue looked at Ni. He was the one who said that. "All right, everyone pack up. When the others come back, we'll leave this place." Sima Yue said to the rest. "Then we'll go and keep the tents." The people dispersed, leaving her and Bai Sheng standing at the cliff. I've never seen them so sincere in Blood Fiend City. Bai Sheng looked at the people who were smiling. "You've made everyone's heart come alive again. I think even if it's the entire Blood Fiend City, they will also be united because of you." Sima Yue smiled. "Old Bai, you really think highly of me. You have such ability and charm." Bai Sheng continued, "This is something I didn't expect. Now I'm glad that I followed you all out. I'm also glad that you helped us." Sima Yue said, "Without you, Heartbreak Valley wouldn't have developed so well." The two of them looked at each other and smiled. They felt like they had found a confidant. "These ancient spirit beasts are just like that. Will anything happen to them?" Little Seven asked. "With the Heaven's Net, they can't get out. They can only be locked up here forever." Bai Sheng said, "Ah, that's so pitiful." Little Seven said, "They didn't do anything but be locked up here forever. If it was me, I'd probably go crazy." Yu, can we bring them away?" Sima Yue looked at the spirit beasts in the valley and frowned, saying, "These spirit beasts are too ferocious. If we let them out, I'm afraid it'll bring danger to everyone." "What if we can bring them all away?" Little Seven asked. "As long as there's time, we can tame them one by one." Sima Yue looked at Little Seven in confusion, saying, "This isn't like you. What are you planning?" Little Seven laughed. "I'm just thinking that they cause you to get hurt. If we tame them later on, I can torture them properly and help you vent your anger." Chapter 11:30. Sima Yue was happy with Little Seven's thoughts, but they still left without doing anything. Not to mention the fact that the nets above, snares below were difficult to overcome. Even if they were able to overcome it, she would not want to release them. When little Seven left, she looked back at the sinkhole every 3 steps. She wanted to use them to vent the hatred in her heart. Coming to the restriction formation, Tuanzi opened it, and everyone went out one by one. When the people of Heartbreak Valley came out again, many of them could not help but take a deep breath. They were finally out. Sima Yue came out and saw Jiang Junxian, Han Miao Shuang, Su Xiao Xiao, and the Xian Xiu clan members outside. She didn't see Shi Qianji and Shi Qiu Shuang. "Wait for me here," Sima Yue said to Shimin Feng and the others, then walked towards Xian Xiuhe. She walked up to him, took out the Bodhi leaf, and handed it to him. "Thank you." She was sincerely grateful to him. If he didn't send her in, then Shimin Feng and the others wouldn't be able to come back. Xian Xiu, he took the Bodhi leaf and said, "I am very happy to be able to help you. It's good that the people of Heartbreak Valley are fine." Although he didn't know what had happened inside, he believed that it was because of her that they had come out alive. "Yue will definitely help if you need anything in the future," Sima Yue said. "If I really need your help, Crane will not hesitate." Xian Xiu, he said, "Since you're fine, we'll take our leave first. Please." Xian Xiu, he led the Xian Xiu clan away. Sima Yue then looked at Han Miao Shuang and the others and asked, "Where's Qiu Shuang and the others?" Previously, someone said that there were people pretending to be people from the Divine Dragon sect and wantonly killing people from other sections. Shi Qianji and Shi Qiu Shuang went to settle it. Han Miao Shuang said, "Then why didn't you go?" Sima Yue looked at Jiang Junxian. Was he also a member of the Divine Dragon sect? Moreover, his status was quite high. "I don't really care about the matters of the cult," Jiang Junxian said, "and those matters can be settled by the two of them. I think you're worried about seeing your sister," Su Xiao said. Jiang Junxian didn't deny it. These guys always like to make fun of them, so there was no need to pay attention to them. He leaned on Han Miao Shuang. He started to doze off. Sima Yu saw him closing his eyes and pretending to be asleep and smiled lightly. It had been a long time since she saw him like this. "Vice Valley Master, what should we do now?" the people of Heartbreak Valley asked. "This place has already been searched thoroughly. The places that people can go have already been searched several times." Han Miao Shuang said. Sima Yu asked the scarlet bees that were still outside, and the news she got was the same. But there were many places that no one went Yue. Yu to Yue that was. Yue to go. To Yue. Yue, do you still want to go? Tuanzi shouted. Yue. As long as it's not like before. Sima Yu said, "But I don't have that much energy left." Tuanzi said, "I haven't digested the remaining half of the stone. I don't have enough energy to take so many people in." "It's okay. You don't have to bring them all in. You just have to bring me in." Her smile made Tuanzi feel cold. What a terrifying woman. Shimonli touched her nose speechlessly. Her sister was very gentle. Why did Tuanzi always call her a cruel woman? Seeing Tuanzi's reaction, Sima Yue took it out of Shimin Li's arms and said, "This is your punishment." "But Shimin Feng has already punished me." Tuanzi protested. "Didn't you say that you wouldn't punish me?" "I said I didn't have the energy to punish you then." Sima Yue said, "Your protest is invalid. You'd better obey." "Ha!" Tuanzi had no limbs, so its body was twisting in her hands. Seeing Sima Yue shoot out red flame, it obediently gave in and said unwillingly, "Okay." So for nearly a year, she held Tuanzi in her arms and shuttled through various inhibitions. She took people into the small realm, and then went in with Tuanzi in places that were not very dangerous. If there was no danger, she would call everyone out to look for treasures. If there was danger, one person and one beast would retreat. Every time Little Doe protested, Sima Yu would start to play with fire and suppress the rest of the guy's words. After some exploration, Tuanzi had a deeper understanding of Sima Yue. It planned to encourage its master to stay away from her in the future. What a terrifying woman. The people who came to the relics came and left. Gradually, no one came to the island. The Tree of Life was gone, and there was nothing to look for in the relics. It was meaningless for them to come again, so they might as well go to other places. A year later, Sima Yue also left with the people of Heartbreak Valley. Because the emperor's inheritance was obtained by Xian Xiu He, and the sacred cultivation place was all absorbed by the people of Heartbreak Valley. Occasionally, there were some treasures, but they were also plundered by Sima Yue. Of course, these were not the only things in the relics. There were several inhibitions that they did not enter. It was not that she didn't want to, but Tuan Zi said that there was something inside that made it feel horrible. Thinking of a Skynet, she gave up. If there was something horrible that everyone couldn't solve, it would be troublesome. Besides, all the people of Heartbreak Valley had advanced, which was already a good thing. Xiaoqi took everyone back to the land with the ship, and then Shimin Feng left with the people of Heartbreak Valley. Why didn't you go with a group? Jiang Jun, Xian opened his eyelids slightly and asked sleepily. They have their opportunities, and I have mine. If we go together, we will break up each other's opportunities. Sima Yue said. How do you know? Lin said it. Speaking of which, although the people of Heartbreak Valley encountered danger this time, they still had a lot of gains. However, didn't Lin say that there wouldn't be any danger? Could it be that when he said that there wouldn't be too much danger, he meant that she would go and save them in the end and let them be scared but not in danger? But no matter what, it was good to have gains. After Shimin Feng and the others left, Sima Yue and Han Miao Shuang went in the same direction. This way, the distance between them would not be too far. If anything happened to them, they could take care of each other. But Lin's words were not in vain. After that, until everyone left the immortal land, the people of Heartbreak Valley did not send her a signal for help. After the group of people swept through the immortal land, they returned with a full load before the immortal land closed. And for some reason, the opening of the immortal land this time took longer than before. From opening to closing, it took about 20 years. This was something that Lin did not expect at the beginning. Chapter 11:31. Sima Yue took out the scroll and saw that there were fewer people on it. Are the Zhongzhang clansmen still alive? Little Seven asked. When we left the island, the old apes said that they were all gone. Sima Yue said, You were in the cabin then, so you didn't know. Oh, they're already dead. They didn't have time to wait for us, to take revenge. Little Seven sighed in disappointment. You still like to fight so much even with Qing Yi. Why? Can't Qing Yi control you? Han Miao Shuang teased. You're still so talkative even with senior brother. Why? Can't senior brother control you? Little Seven immediately retorted. A dash. Han Miao Shuang was stunned. How did this guy react so quickly? She didn't think that she would get herself into trouble just because she wanted to tease her. Little Seven saw Han Miao Shuang's reaction. As if she had won a battle, she went to Sima Yue and asked, Yu, where are we going now? Use your little nose to smell. Is there any treasure in front? Sima Yue said, No, I'm not a dog. Little Seven snorted. Your attributes are similar to that. Sima Yue smiled and said, So come on, try it. Annoying. I'm ignoring you. Little Seven ran to Qing Yi's side and ignored her. Ha ha dash. Everyone laughed. Even if she looked like she had grown up, her personality was still the same. Sima Yue turned her gaze to Little Dream and said, Little Dream, let's go to a crowded place and see if we'll meet the devil clansmen. If you have enemies, we'll take revenge for you. Little Dream's body trembled. She thought of the past. She nodded. If she met those people, she wouldn't be merciful. Sima Yue looked at the scroll and found a place with the most dots. She got Chongming to bring everyone there. They flew for many days and didn't meet anyone, but they saw many corpses. They died very tragically. Seems to be done by the devil clan. There's still some devil aura lingering on them. They concluded after checking the corpses. Little Dream looked at the corpses and was stunned. Little Meng, what's wrong? Hua tugged at her clothes. Little Meng flew to the side of the corpses and sniffed carefully, saying, This is the aura of the Demon Wolf clan. The Demon Wolf race was one of those races back then? Little Seven asked. Yes, they were the ones who experimented on me the most. I will never forget their smell. Xiao Ming clenched her fists, her body trembling from restraint. Sima Yue came to her side and hugged her. She stroked her hair and said, "It's okay now. Since those people are here, then let's find them and take revenge for you." Little Seven said, "That's right. Little Dream, can you sense where they are?" Han Miao Shuang asked. Xiao Ming got out of Sima Yue's arms and shook her head. "Let me try." Sima Yue took out a scroll and used her spirit energy to sweep away the devil aura on those people's wounds. A few faint dots appeared on the scroll. "This scroll can be used like that," Han Miao Shuang said in shock. "Such a good treasure. Junior sister, where did you get this?" "Senior brother Ling Yu gave it to me," Sima Yue said. As the holy son of the sage pavilion and the former demon king, it wasn't strange for him to have this. In the northwest direction, Little Seven came over and looked at the faint black dots, saying, Yu, let's go over now." Sima Yue looked at the many dots around them and said, "There are more people there than other places, and they are very concentrated. It seems that there might be some treasure there." Su Xiaoming said. Sima Yue kept the scroll and said, "Since that's the case, let's go take a look." Chongming flew them for a few days before they slowly got close to that place. For safety reasons, Sima Yue released many scarlet bees and got them to scout for information. Very quickly, the scarlet bees sent back news that there were many people gathered there, but they weren't looking for treasure, but for a confrontation. Confrontation? Everyone was shocked by this news. Every minute and every second in the immortal land was precious. These people didn't use it to look for opportunities, but used it to confront others. But because there were very strong people there, the scarlet bees couldn't get close, so they didn't know what was going on there. "Let's go over and take a look." In order to narrow down the target, the group got off Chongming and walked over. Chongming transformed into his human form and followed. What a dense devil aura. There's also the aura of the ghost clan. "Qing," he said. "Could it be a war between the three clans?" Little Seven's eyes lit up. She had always been interested in such things. "The bees in front didn't dare to get close, so we don't know what's going on. Everyone, be careful," Sima Yue said. "That Little Seven, bring Qing Yi into the spirit pagoda." Qing Yi wasn't an ordinary person after all. If he was seen by someone strong, it would bring trouble to Yue. She was alone in Heartbreak Valley and wasn't around. If something happened, it would be troublesome. "Okay, Qing Yi, let's go in," Little Seven said. Qing Yi wasn't interested in these things and followed Little Seven into the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue and the others walked forward slowly. They went over the call in front and saw that there were people everywhere. The call and the valley were densely packed with people. And on the call in the distance, there were also people, but they were all from the Devil Clan. On the other side, the Ghost Clan had taken over many mountains. Human, Devil, and Ghost Clan were in a triangular confrontation. The strong people felt that they were coming and turned back to take a look. Seeing that it was a few people with average strength, they didn't take it to heart. Sima Yue and the others came to the call in the distance. The terrain here was higher, and they could see the situation below clearly. But because they had their backs to most people, only the Ghost Clan opposite them could see them. When they saw Sima Yue's face, the people opposite them were stunned. Is that the princess? Impossible. That's obviously a human. Deja saw Sima Yue and his body shook. Ghostmaster, is that her? Why did she look so familiar? Ghostmaster looked at Sima Yue. She really looked like the Dark Princess when she was dressed as a female. It's her. There's a mark left on her body, but it's being suppressed by something, so it's not easy to feel. Ghostmaster, why does she look so familiar? Deja looked at Sima Yue in female clothes and felt that there was something familiar between her eyebrows. I heard that when the Dark Princess went to the human world, she fell in love with a human. She even pledged to marry him and gave birth to a child. Chapter 1132. Deja was stunned. You're not saying that she's my cousin, are you? He looked at Sima Yue. When he thought of this possibility, he could not accept it. This fellow had killed many of his ghost soldiers back then, and he had always wanted to take revenge on her. Ghostmaster, could it be that you've got the wrong person? No, the Ghostmaster said with certainty. He looked at Sima Yue. Even though they were so far apart, even though the ghost aura in her body was suppressed, he could still smell the unique scent on Yue's body. Yukaluo, Master, why are you so sure? Deja felt even more depressed. The ghost master always had a sense of propriety. If he wasn't sure, he wouldn't have said it with such certainty. However, that was his cousin. He felt that he had to digest this news properly. If it was any other cousin, he would have killed her. The king would not blame him, and no one would dare to cause trouble for him. But this was his aunt's woman. He couldn't do it. He must have owed her in his previous life, which was why he was being bullied by her in this life. Sima Yue noticed that Deja's gaze slowly changed from anger and hatred to shock and helplessness. In the end, he looked as if he had been bullied by her. She was very confused. She should be the one who was angry, right? Wasn't she the one who was being bullied? The last time he saw them, he was almost killed. How could she still look at him like that? Where was his face? However, was this guy crazy? Why was she looking at him like that? Could it be? Her heart suddenly skipped a beat. Could it be that this fellow had seen through her identity as a ghost? That wasn't right either. The way he looked at her was as if he was looking at an acquaintance. Furthermore, it was as if he was looking at a relative. F***. Could it be? Sima Yue was shocked by her own thoughts. If he was really related to that guy, wouldn't he be depressed to death? No way. It shouldn't be that tragic, right? However, the way Deja looked at her made her more and more certain of her thoughts. However, Sima Yue recalled what Lin said before she came in. The 100 Ghosts banner must be in her hands. Wasn't this 100 Ghosts streamer Deja's treasure? If he snatched it away, would he be so angry that he would vomit blood? Thinking about how he had almost died last time, it was fine to make him vomit blood. Little junior sister, who is that person? You look at me strangely. Han Miaoshuang said. An enemy, Sima Yue said. Deja almost vomited blood when he saw Sima Yue's mouth. What enemy? He was her family. Family. This girl, after we meet, I will definitely teach her a lesson. Master, is she really your cousin? A guard behind Deja asked. That's right. Master, she can't really be my cousin, right? Deja also hoped to hear a different answer. She's obviously a human. She doesn't have any ghost clans aura at all. The Ghost Master seemed to have just recovered from his memories. He glanced at them and said, the last time when I branded her, I triggered the Ghost Clan's aura in her body. At that time, I knew that one of her parents must be from the Ghost Clan. However, we left too quickly, so I didn't feel whose aura was in her body. At that time, I thought she wouldn't live for long. I didn't expect to see her again and feel a familiar aura. It's really her. He couldn't tell if it was surprise or sadness. However, no matter what it was, in Deja's ears, it was a joke. If it's any other cousin, Master, you can ignore it. However, this is the Dark Princess child. Stop talking. Deja turned around and glared at that person. The Dark Princess child. What a sad sentence. Yukaluo was only a few years older than him, and the two of them had a very good relationship. In the past, when his talent had not been activated and he was looked down upon by others, she was the only one who accompanied him, encouraged him, and helped him start another life. He once said that he could betray the D family, the royal family, the entire Ghost Clan, and even the world, but he would never betray her. As long as it was something she wanted, he would definitely give it to her. Even this 100 Ghost banner was because he heard that it could save her, so he spent a lot of effort to find it. If he knew that she had a child, he didn't know how happy he would be. However, the prerequisite was that it wasn't that person in front of him. When he thought about how he had sent people to kill her daughter, and how her daughter had killed so many of his ghost soldiers, he wanted to curse. Sigh. No matter how unhappy he was, no matter how conflicted he was, he couldn't change this matter. The only thing he could do now was to accept it. In view of what had happened before, he felt that it would be difficult for them to get along peacefully. Sima Yue watched as Deja's expression changed again and again. She didn't know what he was thinking. However, it didn't matter what he was thinking. What she needed to do now was to snatch the 100 Ghost banner. If she hadn't met him, it would have been fine. Now that she met him, she wouldn't let go of this opportunity. Were these people in a deadlock for? Su Xiao looked at the three parties below and asked, I don't know. There seems to be a group of people below discussing something. The people above are waiting for the results? Han Miao Shuang said. Let's wait and see. Sima Yue said, Little Dream, have you seen the Devil Wolf clan? Little Seven nodded and looked behind the Devil clan. Sima Yue followed her gaze and saw a few hundred people with wolf heads embroidered on their clothes. Those are the Devil Wolf clan? I don't know the others, but I know the leader. Little Dream looked at the person in the middle. When they experimented on me, he was still a young wolf. However, his position in the clan wasn't low, so he often came to watch. I remember that he even helped them with a knife. Those damn devil wolves. I want to eat them all. Hua looked at those people hatefully. We won't let them go. Sima Yue said, but they have a lot of people. If it's just a few of us, I'm afraid it won't work. Su Xiao said, don't worry. It's still early to get out. We'll think of a way. Sima Yue said, sometimes you don't have to have a lot of people. As long as you have the right time and the right people, it's not impossible to fight with fewer people. You're talking about the time at the Xishan mountain range. You used an array to exterminate the Zhongzheng clan and Weiyang Palace? Han Miao Shuang asked. Sima Yu curled her lips into a smile, silently agreeing with her words. Array formations, that's a really good thing. They've come to a conclusion. Su Xiao said. Everyone looked over and saw that the group of people who were gathered together had dispersed and retreated. Chapter 1133. It was only then that Sima Yi noticed that the three people who were chatting below were all very powerful. The humans, demons, and ghosts are all at the Paragon level. Hua said, what's going on? Why would the elders of the three clans come out? Su Xiao frowned. Sima Yoyue's expression was solemn as well. It was definitely not an ordinary matter for the three tribes to gather for a discussion. Who is that human? If I'm not wrong, that's someone from the Sage Pavilion. Su Xiao said. Someone from the Sage Pavilion? Sima Yue was stunned. If Wu Lingyu woke up, he should be able to recognize this person. Deputy Pavilion Master. When Yu Chengbi saw the Deputy Pavilion Master return, he hurriedly went up to greet him. Sage Pavilion's Vice Pavilion Master Tang Yin. Even if Wu Lingyu was awake, he would be surprised to see him. This was because among the many Vice Pavilion Masters and Elders of the Sage Pavilion, Tang Yun, who was the youngest, rarely came out. He didn't expect to come to the Immortal Land this time. Tang Yun looked as gentle as jade. He was dressed in white and looked as holy as he was. His long black hair was casually draped behind his back, making him look like an immortal. Let's go back, Tang Yun said to the people from the Sage Pavilion. When the Sage Pavilion's people returned to their original positions, the other powers then surrounded them. Vice Pavilion Master, what's the result of the discussion? Tang Yun waved his hand, indicating for everyone to calm down. After everyone quieted down, he said, our final conclusion is that the humans, devils, and devils will all go in together. Enter at the same time? That won't do. We disagree. How can we be with the devil race and the ghost race? That's right. Seeing those people become so agitated, Tang Yun was not in a hurry to explain. Vice Pavilion Master, we asked you to negotiate because we respect you. We didn't ask you to show weakness to the devil race and ghost race. Tang Yun raised his eyebrows and said, so you're saying that you have the confidence to completely annihilate the devil clan and ghost clan? Everyone was silent. None of them had the confidence to say that they could kill everyone from the other two clans. Or should I say, you have the confidence to make the devil clan or ghost clan cooperate with you to deal with the other clan? Tang Yin said. Everyone fell silent again. They were still not sure about this. What a joke. They had always been enemies with the ghost race and the devil race. How could they possibly cooperate with them to deal with another race? If they worked together, they would be able to deal with the humans. After all, the ghost clan and the devil clan would occasionally interact with each other. Tang Yin saw that they were silent and said, all of you aren't talking? Wasn't everyone talking excitedly just now? Now you're not going to say anything. Everyone lowered their heads, not daring to look him in the eye. Since you can't kill the Devil Clan and the Ghost Clan, and you can't kill the other group that cooperated with them, then tell me, should we give up on this place or go in with them? It seemed that this was the only way. The immortal realm is different from the continent. Here, the Devil race and Ghost race are equal in strength. Don't always think that this is the world that we inform. Yu Chengbai said, in the continent outside, in the blood tunnel, there were many humans and they were strong. Naturally, they wouldn't care about the Ghost Clan and the Devil Clan. However, it was different here. They could enter as many people as the humans could enter. They could enter as many people as the human lord could send in. In this place, they had no advantage, so they had to keep their sense of superiority. Sima Yue looked at Tang Yun. Everyone was very excited just now. If they weren't careful, something could have happened and the Sage Pavilion would become the target of public criticism. However, he only needed to ask 2 questions to solve this problem. This person is powerful. The highest realm of battle was to subdue the enemy without fighting. His 2 sentences made everyone fall silent. This was even higher than that. Tang Yun, the youngest vice pavilion master of the Sage Pavilion, the youngest paragon rank expert. If he can't even settle such a small matter, his reputation would be undeserved. Jiang Junxian opened his eyes and said slowly, "He's Tang Yun." Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao Xiao were surprised. They had only heard of his name, but they had never seen him before. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. It seemed that they knew this person. The youngest vice pavilion master, the youngest paragon rank expert. She had developed quite a bit of interest in him, but they still didn't know what was going on here. The Ghost Clan and the Devil Clan's reaction was similar to the humans. At first, they were against cooperating with the other 2 clans. But just like the humans, the Devil Clan and the nobles had the same concerns. Without absolute certainty, they couldn't take the risk. So, everyone temporarily decided to search for treasures together. Although they were unwilling, they had to agree. After talking so much, you still haven't said what it is. Han Miao Shuang said, "It's nothing more than finding a treasure place." The 3 clans found it at the same time and decided to go in together. Jiang Junxian said lazily, This possibility is very high." Sima Yue said, "We just don't know where it is." Yu. A slightly familiar voice was heard. Sima Yue turned her head to look. It was the baby-faced girl Zhou Lan that she met at Bright Red Mountain Peak. "Zhou Lan, you're here too?" She was surprised and happy to see Zhou Lan. Everyone went through thick and thin together at Bright Red Mountain Peak. "It's really you." Zhou Lan jumped up and looked at Sima Yue in surprise. "I didn't dare to recognize you when I saw you in female clothes. I didn't expect it to be you." We heard that the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley is a female with the same name as you. We thought it was just a name." Zhou Lan said, "So when we saw you just now, we didn't dare to recognize you. In the end, everyone made a bet. I lost, so I came to ask if it was you. If it was, they would come over. If it wasn't, they wouldn't come over to embarrass themselves. This group of bad people, their original words were, if you want to embarrass yourself, you can do it alone." "So, the others are here too?" Sima Yue asked. "They're all here. They're below. I'll ask them to come up." Zhou Lan turned her head and waved at the sect she was in. The others immediately ran over. Heroic Sword Sect wasn't far from here, so they arrived quickly. Qi Wei ran the fastest. He came in front of Sima Yue and danced with his hands and feet. He circled around Sima Yue a few times. His face was filled with all kinds of expressions. He was so excited that he couldn't speak. After a while, he said something with a sobbing tone. "Boss, you're actually a girl." Chapter 1134. PFFF. Qi Wei's expression made everyone burst out laughing. "If you continue to give me that expression, don't call me boss anymore," Sima Yue said with a dark face. All right, boss." Qi Wei tried his best not to dwell on the fact that Sima Yue was a girl. "Little junior sister, these are." Han Miao Shuang looked at these people in confusion. "Let me introduce you. This is Blue Blade, Qi Wei, Zhou Yu Qing, and Xian Minglang. They're the friends I told you about in bright red mountain peak. Sima Yue introduced Blue Blade and the others, then pointed to Han Miao Shuang and the others, saying, "This is my senior sister Han Miao Shuang, senior brothers Jiang Jun Xian and Su Xiao Xiao. I've heard about the bright red mountain peak from little junior sister many times. I didn't expect to meet you here. Thank you for taking care of junior sister at that time." Han Miao Shuang said, "Miss Han is too polite. Back then, it was you who took care of us. If it wasn't for her, we would have died in Red Mountain Peak." Blue Blade said, "What, Miss Han or Miss Han? You could just call me Miao Shuang." Han Miao Shuang said, "All right, just call us by our names." Blue Blade nodded. "So, Heartbreak Valley was really built by you guys." Xian Minglang looked at Sima Yue. "You are the Deputy Valley Lord?" "Yes." Sima Yue nodded. "I heard that Lord Lin spent a long time alone with you. Is it true that he asked you to take care of the divinators?" "It's not that exaggerated. He only said that I'll take care of his disciple in the future." Sima Yue said, "But that's just because he thought too highly of me. No matter what, you are different in other people's hearts." Sima Yue did not want to continue the topic and asked, "How long have you been here? Do you know what happened? Why are the Devil Clan and the Ghost Clan here? What did Tanya mean by going in together? We came half a day earlier than you, but we've already found out what happened here." Zhou said, "Do you see that empty valley below?" Sima Yue nodded. Previously, they had noticed that there were people everywhere except for the valley. It said that someone went in and discovered that it was a relic of a real celestial emperor. What happened on the small island was just a cover. Back then, the great emperor had actually lived here before. They also said that this is the mausoleum of that great emperor. Zhou said, "No matter what it is, the person who came out obtained a treasure inside." Then the news spread out, and the surrounding people, devils, and demons all rushed over. "Then why are we waiting here?" Han Miao Shuang asked. "Because everyone arrived around the same time. The human race claimed that it was a human sovereign emperor. The devil race claimed that it was a devil sovereign emperor and that only they could enter. The ghost race claimed that it was a ghost sovereign emperor and that only the ghost race could enter. That's why the three clans are stuck here," Blue Blade explained. "It doesn't matter if it's the Imperial Emperor ruins or the tomb. With so many people entering, I'm afraid there won't be enough to go around." Su Xiao said. Sima Yue nodded in agreement. Also, was the small island really just a cover? Not necessarily. If it was just a cover, then how did Xianxiu he obtain the inheritance of the emperor? Could it be that the emperor would place the inheritance in a cover that he set up and not in his real residence? This was too impossible. Also, if this happened to someone else, as long as they found the treasure, they would want to hide the place and not let anyone know. How could it be that everyone knew about it? So, it was highly possible that this place was just a cover, and a cover actually attracted so many people over. The person who found the treasure and leaked the news at the beginning had a very suspicious motive. She thought of this point, and so did Han Miao Shuang and the others. Their expressions were solemn. "Why do you all have such expressions?" Chi Wei saw that Sima Yue and the others knew that this place was a relic. Not only was he not happy, he even frowned and asked curiously, "Do you really think that the relic on the island is a cover, and this is the real relic?" Sima Yue asked Blue Blade and the others. Blue Blade and the others were very sure before, but seeing Sima Yue's expression, they were a little uncertain. That's what everyone said. The one on the island said that it was the Emperor ruins, but everyone went in and didn't get any treasures, so they all felt that they were cheated. And when the Emperor's treasure appeared here, everyone believed it. Before you asked this question, I thought so too. Blue Blade said. "Why is there a problem?" "There is indeed a problem," Sima Yue said. "Do you all know that Xianxiu he obtained the Emperor's inheritance in the relic on the island?" "What? Are you sure?" Zhou asked. "I saw it with my own eyes." He admitted it himself. Sima Yue said, "If the Emperor's inheritance is there, then why aren't there any other treasures?" Yu Qing asked. "That's because we're not the only ones who came to this immortal land." Sima Yue said, "Many people came here, and the things in the relic were taken by others." "Others? Who?" Chi Wei asked. Outsiders. Sima Yue said. How do you know? Qing Yi said it. Who is Qing Yi? The Tree of Life. If the Tree of Life said it, then it shouldn't be wrong. Zhou Lan said. If that's really the case, then the one on the island is the real relic? Then what is this place? What do you think this is? Sima Yue asked back. Zhou Lan and Blue Blade thought of something, and their expressions changed. If that's really the case, then if the people from the sect go in... No, I have to hurry and inform Master about this. Blue Blade said as he wanted to go back. Blue Blade, you should know what to say, right? Some people don't want others to know about them. Sima Yue said. Blue Blade was stunned. She was talking about Xian Xiuhe. He nodded, saying, I understand. Also, we can't be sure about this. Just tell your master and the others secretly. Sima Yue reminded him again. Okay. Blue Blade turned and left. Qi Wei and the others still didn't understand, and asked curiously, What's wrong with Blue Blade? I haven't seen his face change like that in a long time. The three of them still didn't understand the severity of the situation. Zhou Lan understood them better. They had simple personalities and thought of things simply. If she didn't remind them, they wouldn't be able to connect the dots. If the one on the island is the real relic, then what is this place? She asked. That should be a fake relic. A emperor can't have two relics so close to each other. Yu Qing said. She understood a little and took a deep breath. Could it be? Chapter 1135. Xianming Lang understood a little, but he didn't think that deeply. Qi Wei still didn't understand. Could it be? He asked. Zhou Lan sighed, saying, If that place is real, then this place is fake. Since it's fake, why would someone find a treasure here and say that this is the real emperor's remains? What's the benefit of saying that? Get everyone to come here. Qi Wei said, but this could be real. Yu Yu has already confirmed that the island is the real remains. Could this be the real remains? Zhou Lan asked. Impossible, unless that emperor is an idiot. Qi Wei said. Of course the emperor wasn't an idiot. So, we've been here for so long. But have we heard who discovered this place first? Which power does it belong to? Zhou Lan asked again. Yu Qing and the others shook their heads. When a normal person obtains a treasure, they can't wait for the whole world to not know. Why would that person release the news? Zhou Lan continued to ask. It must be to attract people here on purpose. Qi Wei said. But why? Yu Qing asked. No matter what the reason is, this news is enough to make people tremble. Zhou Lan said. Blue Blade understood this, so he went back to inform Master and the others. I just don't know if Master and the others will believe it. Zhou Lan was a little worried. They believed that there was an inside story because they believed in Sima Yue, but the sect might not believe it. In front of treasures and opportunities, everyone's rationality was pitifully low. What if, this place has nothing to do with the Emperor's remains? Or, is this another opportunity? Xianming Lang said. We can't rule out that possibility. Zhou Lan said. That's why I'm worried that Master and the others won't believe it. As expected, Blue Blade had an argument with someone beside his master, and finally left after saying some angry words. They don't believe you, right? Zhou Lan asked. My master is fine, but the hateful people at Red Blade's side keep saying that I'm a coward and that there's no inside story at all. I made up such a lousy excuse because I didn't dare to go. Blue Blade said, I can't say anything about Xian Xiuhe, so it's normal that they don't believe me. Since you've already said it, it's none of your business whether they listen or not. Han Miaoshuang said. Even so, we're still from the same sect. If something happens to them, we can't just ignore it. Blue Blade said. Although there were internal disagreements within a sect, they were all united to the outside world. Everyone knew that without the lips, the teeth would feel cold. But if they insist on dying, will you follow them? Han Miaoshuang asked. If there really is something, we will go together. Blue Blade said. Are you stupid? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at Blue Blade. She had thought that he was a good person before, but now it seemed that he was really stupid. What? Instead of thinking about how to save the lives of your sect members, you want to die with them. If you're not stupid, what are you? Sima Yue said. Eh, you don't know, but our sect has some stubborn old people who won't listen to us. Jolan said somewhat helplessly. Then let those old fogies go in themselves. Han Miaoshuang said. That's not realistic. Jolan shook her head. If we go in, we can be more alert if anything happens. I hope that we can avoid some things. I hope so. At this moment, the heroic sword sect members waved at them, indicating that they should go back. They're calling us. They should be going in soon. You guys go ahead. Sima Yue smiled. Chi Wei pulled Sima Yue's clothes and said, Boss, if anything happens, you have to come and save us. Sima Yue used 2 fingers to pinch her clothes and pulled it out gently. She smiled at Chi Wei. If I don't go in, how can I save you? As my little brother, you have to be smart. Don't die in there. Boss, I feel that your smile is a little scary, Chi Wei said with a frown. Is it? Sima Yue's smile deepened. The Qi clan should have prepared many good things for you. Use them well, don't die in there. Otherwise, I won't acknowledge you as my little brother. All right. Chi Wei left feeling wronged. He believed in Sima Yue. If she said that something bad would happen, then nothing good would happen. Save his life. Save his life. Otherwise, he wouldn't be her little brother. When Blue Blade and the others walked far away, Han Miaoshuang asked, Little junior sister, are we really not going in? We'll see, but we definitely won't go in with them. Sima Yue said. Then should we inform the others? Sima Yue looked at the people below, some of whom she had some relations with, and said, We can inform them, but whether they believe it or not, it's none of our business. How do we inform them? Sima Yue took out a pen and paper and quickly wrote a few words. Then, she divided them into small pieces and called out the scarlet bees, letting them fly towards the forces that she wanted to inform. People were already entering from the entrance. Those who received the paper did not take her words to heart. Big Wei and Little Wei were talking to the people in the sect when a scarlet bee flew in front of them and stopped. What is this? The person who was talking to them asked. Yue's scarlet bee. Big Wei said. He stretched out his hand, and the scarlet bee stopped in his hand. A faint white light flashed, and a piece of paper appeared in his hand. He picked up the piece of paper, and the scarlet bee flapped its wings and flew away. Is she sending us a message? Little Wei saw that Big Wei didn't say anything after reading the piece of paper and asked. Big Wei opened the piece of paper, and everyone could see the words on it. Real and fake historical remains. Beware traps. Little Wei read it and said, She's saying that this is a fake historical remains, and there's a trap here. No matter if it's a trap or not, we have to be careful. Big Wei said, It's not like you don't know Yue, that child. She wouldn't say things that she isn't confident in. Yue? The array genius in the sect that you were talking about? The people beside him asked. That's her. She seems to be quite popular recently. I often hear people talking about her. Indeed, heroes come from the youth. If only this person was from our sect. With her talent, I believe that our 100 changing doors will be able to regain our former glory. But that's just wishful thinking. The power that she just established is quite big. It's not realistic to ask her to give up her position as the Vice Valley Lord to join us. Big Wei and Little Wei looked at each other. They had not announced that Sima Yue had the array book. Only the sect leader knew about it. If these people knew that the book was with her, they would not think this way. Chapter 1136. CPA 300_4. Big Wei kept the paper. Big Wei, Little Wei, you guys have interacted with Sima Yue before. What do you think of this matter? The 100 changing doors, people asked. I think it's highly possible. Little Wei said, I've been suspicious about this since the beginning. Why would a ruin appear out of nowhere? Now it seems that there really is a problem. But how did Sima Yue find out? Someone questioned. Is this news reliable? I think it's good to believe in some things. But we can't give up on this opportunity. Then we'll still go in, but everyone must remain vigilant. Big Wei said, Inform the inner sect disciples that if anything happens, immediately activate the array and leave. All right. Sima Yue was not surprised to see those people enter after reading the note. They didn't listen to you, Hua Hua said. Everything is within my expectations. Sima Yue said, a note can only alert them, but can't stop them. You already knew? Then why did you tell them? Hua Hua didn't understand. Some relationships can be considered passable. It's up to us to tell them, but it's up to them to listen. Sima Yue said, I'll be happy if they can prevent this from happening. But if they don't listen and something happens in the end, I won't blame myself. Hua Hua nodded, somewhat understanding what she meant. They're going in too. Little Dream had been paying attention to the Demon Wolf clan the entire time. Seeing them walk down the mountain, she clenched her fists and said, Don't worry, they won't be able to escape. Sima Yue patted Xiao Meng's head. What did you do? Han Miao Shuang asked. It's nothing much. I just got Qi Feng to sprinkle something on them during the chaos. Sima Yue said, Is the poison effective? Will they find out? Su Xiao felt a little worried. If they found out, then they couldn't take them by surprise. The Devil Clan is more sensitive to these smells. If you really use poison, I'm afraid it won't escape their noses. Jiang Junxian said, Who said I poisoned it? Sima Yue said, If it isn't poison, then what is it? It's just some pollen, some Hua Hua's pollen. Sima Yue said, It's not strange to have some pollen on your body in the Wonderland, right? The scent of Hua Hua lingered on their bodies for a long time without dissipating. As long as Qi Feng was there, he would be able to find them. Besides, don't we have scrolls? It's just that these scrolls are sometimes unreliable. Unreliable. Our aura is decreasing. Once it completely disappears, we probably won't be able to sense their whereabouts. Sima Yue said, After all, this is a Dharma treasure that targets humans. Now that we have Hua Hua's pollen, we have another form of protection. Han Miao Shuang said, When are we going in? Let's wait until they've all gone in. The humans, devils, and ghosts went in one after another. In order to be the first to get the treasures, everyone was fighting to be the first to go in. Many people started to fight at the entrance again, giving other people a chance to enter. Master, they've all gone in. Are we still not moving? A guard behind Deja asked. Deja looked at Sima Yue, who was on the opposite mountain. His eyes darkened as he said, Wait a while more. The people behind him understood that he wanted to wait for Sima Yue to come down and go in together. Even if they didn't go in together, at least they wouldn't be too far apart. They hadn't officially acknowledged each other, but he was already worried about her safety. It was a pity that Sima Yue didn't care about his feelings. After a while, the ghost clansmen had all gone in. There weren't many people left from the other two clans, but she still didn't have any intention to move. Deja was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Are you going in or not? If I'm not going in, don't stand outside and tease me. Master, they've all gone in. We go in. Deja looked at Sima Yue. She didn't look like she wanted to go in. He could only order everyone to go in. At this moment, they were the last few. That ghost clansman is really strange. He only went in when the other ghost clansmen went in. Could it be that he knew something was going on? I feel like he's waiting for us. Jiang Junxian said, Do you know him? Speaking of the ghost clan, everyone looked at Sima Yue. She was the only one who had interacted with the ghost clan, and the other half of her body also had the aura of the ghost clan. Sima Yue looked at them and said, Why are you looking at us? Don't tell me he's waiting for me. Junior sister, do you know him? Han Miao Shuang asked. I know him. Sima Yue admitted. You actually know him? Why haven't I heard you mention him? Didn't I mention him? Sima Yue said in surprise. He's the ghost clan from Bright Red Mountain Peak? The last time I came back from Bright Red Mountain Peak, I almost died because of them. The three senior brothers and senior sisters were silent. Then Han Miao Shuang cursed. Damn, you should have said it earlier. We'll go and kill them. Senior sister, calm down. Sima Yue saw how agitated she was and held her back. Don't worry. I won't let him off so easily. No wonder I was wondering why they kept looking at us. So they're enemies. Su Xiao was also furious. Master and teacher Go left the academy because Sima Yue's physique was completely activated. They knew her secret and went to find a solution for her. At the same time, the Ghost Clan's aura was activated and pushed her body to the brink of collapse. So, it was all because of the Ghost Clan. They stared at her. Why didn't she say it earlier? All right, you guys don't have to be so angry. Sima Yue smiled. I already said that I won't let them off. When I take my revenge, you guys can take care of them. She didn't expect them to be like this when they found out. Instantly, she felt warmth in her heart. Then let's go in. Han Miao Shuang said. Don't be anxious. Since we're not going in to look for treasures, let's wait a little longer. Sima Yue said. What are we waiting for? Now that everyone has gone in, the Ghost Clan didn't leave any marks. What if we can't find them when we go in? Sima Yue looked at the anxious person and said, if we can't find them, we can wait for them to come out. Aya, senior sister, calm down. The bee said that someone is coming. Let's hide. She brought people into the spirit pagoda and heard Little Spirit observing the situation outside. A group of masked men in black flew over from afar. Looking at the empty valley, a lady said, they went in once they went in. Looking at these footprints, there should be a lot of people who went in. Is everything ready? A hoarse voice asked. Yes, everything has been set up inside. That lady said. Then let's go in and take a look. Remember to cut off their escape route. We'll open it half a year later. Yes. After speaking, those men in black all went in, leaving only a few to guard the entrance. Chapter 1137. Do you guys smell anything? I feel a little dizzy, dong. The men in black fell down one after another. Then, Sima Yue and the rest appeared on the spot. Let's go and take a look. They came to the men in black and pulled down their masks. Eldest senior brother, do you know him? Sima Yue looked at Jiang Junxian. Jiang Junxian shook his head. Sima Yue threw away the mask in her hand. It seemed like someone was up to something again. She just didn't know if these people were in cahoots with those who framed the God Dragon sect and those who started killing people everywhere. What is this? Come over and take a look. Han Miao Shuang beckoned everyone over. Sima Yue walked over and saw a turntable embedded in the soil. The turntable didn't have any energy fluctuations. If it wasn't for the black-clothed men removing the soil on it, they definitely wouldn't have discovered it. Little junior sister, do you know what this is? Han Miao Shuang asked when she saw how engrossed Sima Yue was. This is the first time I've seen this, but I'm sure I've seen it in a book before. Sima Yue said, I'll go look for it. She sent her divine sense into the spirit pagoda and started rummaging through the library. Little Spirit appeared and looked at Sima Yue's spirit body. Sima Yue noticed that there was something wrong with Little Spirit's gaze. She shifted her gaze away from the book and asked, Little Spirit, what's wrong? The fourth floor of the spirit pagoda is open. The book in Sima Yue's hand almost fell to the ground as she looked at Little Spirit and asked, It was activated when I advanced. Little Spirit nodded his head. Then why didn't you tell me earlier? Sima Yue stared at him. Seeing that there was something wrong with his expression, she said, What's wrong? Whenever you are alone, you can come in and look at the things on the fourth floor. Little Spirit said, All right. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing him like this, it seemed that the things on the fourth floor were a little scary. Seeing that Little Spirit had not told her about it for so long, it was probably because he did not want others to know about it. She had been with someone else recently. It seemed like he would have to come in and take a look when he had the time. Now, it was better to deal with the matter at hand. She continued to look for books, flipping through each one a few times before putting them down. Little Spirit came to her side and asked, What are you looking for? Do you remember a book that was quite old and thin? It talked about some weird things? Sima Yue asked. The books here are all relatively old. There are even books from ancient times. Secondly, those books were very thin. Third, more than half of the books here were about strange books. Which book are you looking for? Little Spirit asked. Sima Yue was speechless. This guy. Sima Yue drew a rough picture of the turntable in the air and said, There's a record of this. Little Spirit thought for a moment, and all the books on the bookshelf flew up and flipped through them. Soon, a book floated in front of Sima Yue. This book. Sima Yue took the book and flipped through 2 pages, saying, This is it. Thank you, Little Spirit. Her divine sense returned outside, and Sima Yue had an ancient book in her hand. This is it. Han Miao Shuang asked. Sima Yue nodded. She flipped open the book and found the place where the turntable was described. Hiss! It's actually a Rubik's Cube sky. Han Miao Shuang cried out in surprise when she saw the description. What's a Rubik's Cube sky? Su Xiao asked. It's something that can create a space. It's just that this space has to be built on top of a real space. Han Miao Shuang said. What's the use of this space? It can create anything you want. It's similar to an illusion array, but it's more advanced than an illusion array. The things created inside are all real. Sima Yue said. Hiss! Everyone took a deep breath. There was actually such an advanced thing here. If I want to kill someone inside, won't it be easy? If that was the case, wouldn't those people who went in be dead for sure? It's not that easy. Sima Yue said. The things that are consumed inside need to be supported by spiritual energy. The stronger the spiritual energy, the more powerful the things created. The range will also be larger. That's still good. If it's really unrestrained, then this thing is too scary. But this thing is already closed. If there's no external force to open it, or if the original owner opens it, the people inside can forget about coming out. Sima Yue said. Those people just now said that they cut off their escape route. They should be saying that they closed it. Little Dream guessed. The owner of this thing should be that person. It's highly possible. Sima Yue said. If that's the case, then everyone inside is like a turtle in a jar. Seems like it's really a fake historical remains. Jiang Junxian sighed. Then do we still go in? This Rubik's Cube sky is already closed. Unless we open it first, we can't go in. Then can you open it? No. Then what should we do? There were quite a lot of people in black just now. With the help of this thing, it was not impossible to kill everyone inside. Think of a way to open it. Sima Yue said. Didn't you say that we can't open it? I can't open it now. But there's a way. Sima Yue raised the ancient book in her hand and pointed a line of small words below. Everyone looked at the small words and said, then hurry up and study it. They now felt that this person was still a little naughty. She liked to tease them when she had nothing to do. Sima Yue hugged the book and sat at the side to study it. Following the method written in the book, she rearranged the erase stones that were originally messy on the turntable. Although there was a chant in the book to arrange the erase stones, every step had to be done carefully. So when she opened it again, 2 to 3 days had already passed. A wave of energy came. Just like the wave at the entrance, it attracted everyone over. It's done. Yes, we can go in now. Sima Yue said. Then let's go in. Wait. Sima Yue stopped them. What are we waiting for? If we go in and get locked up, what will we do? Sima Yue asked, so we have to do something outside. She first set up a few arrays outside to hide this place. Then, she called Little Rock and 1,000 Resonance out. I've set up an array. Most people won't find this place. You guys stay here and guard. No matter what happens, you can't let this place close. Understand? Little Rock and 1,000 Resonance understood the importance of this. They nodded and said, You, don't worry. If there's a need, I will gather the bird clans nearby. Okay, then I'll leave you outside to you guys. After speaking, she brought everyone into the space. Chapter 1138. When Sima Yue and the rest arrived at the Rubik's Cube, they realized that it was no different from the outside world. If they didn't know beforehand, they wouldn't have noticed it. Those people have been here for so long. I wonder where they are now, Hua Hua said. Let's take care of the Devil Wolf clan first. Sima Yue said. Even if they had been here for a day, they wouldn't be too far away. She called out the Scarlet Bees and sent them out to scout for information. She also called Little Seven and Qingyi out. The space here is quite big. Seven sensed around and said, It is indeed not small. Otherwise, how could it accommodate so many people? Sima Yue said, There are corpses over there. Little Seven pointed not far ahead. They flew over and saw a pile of corpses. It's a human. The person who killed them is also a human. Su Xiao checked and said, It should be those black, clothed men who chased after us. Han Miaoshuang said, To them, this is a hunting plan. What is the purpose of these people coming in? They keep stirring up trouble in the continent. What exactly do they want to do? Sima Yue frowned. Every time we catch a dead person, we can't get anything out of them. Little 7 pouted. The scarlet bees have smelled the scent of hua pollen. Sima Yue said, that direction. They followed the directions given by the scarlet bees and caught up to the Devil Wolf clan in less than 2 days. It really is them. At this moment, the demon wolf race was fighting with a group of humans. Sima Yue noticed that these people's expressions were somewhat sluggish. They didn't seem to be normal. The demon wolf clan seemed to be too excited. It was as if they had eaten stimulants. They kept attacking the humans, as if they didn't know pain. They watched from afar and had no intention of making a move. With their current strength, it would be useless even if they attacked. Why do I feel like they aren't normal? Little 7 said. It's indeed abnormal, as if it's being controlled by someone. Han Miao Shuang said. They're poisoned. Sima Yue could guess that something was wrong when she saw their expressions. She sniffed hard and smelled a different fragrance. She took out a few antidote pills and gave them to them, saying, eat this. They were all alchemists, so they could tell at a glance that it was an antidote. Each of them took one and ate it. Those people must have been poisoned by the smell when they passed by. Then they lost their minds and started fighting. The battle strength of the Devil Wolf clan is quite strong. Han Miao Shuang said. The battle prowess of the Demon Wolf clan is ranked among the top in the demon realm. Little Dream said, it's precisely because their combat power is strong that they have a rich clan land in the cruel demon realm. However, most of their things were stolen. There's so many of them, and they're so excited. It won't be easy to deal with them. Right now, we don't have the right time, the right place, and the right people. Of course it won't be easy. Sima Yue said. She felt the movement beside her and reached out to hold Little Dream's hand, saying, don't worry, we will kill them all. Little Dream's hand clenched into a fist. She looked at Sima Yue and nodded heavily. She believed in her master. If she said that she would take revenge for her, then she definitely would. The battle in the distance was quickly decided. The humans were all killed while the Devil Wolf clan didn't suffer too many losses. It was clear that their battle prowess was strong. Looking at the ferocious Devil Wolf clan, Sima Yue felt a headache coming on. She had to come up with a good plan. After the Devil Wolf clan killed everyone, they continued to walk forward. When they were far away, they gradually regained their senses. What happened to us just now? We went through a battle just now. Haha, that killing was so satisfying. But why can't I remember clearly? I think you were too excited from the killing that you can't remember. No, we were indeed a little abnormal just now. Someone said, as expected of the Emperor's remains. Just a random place can make us feel dazed. So you're saying that this is really the Emperor's remains? That's right. Ha, let's go. Let's see if we can get any treasures. Ha. Those people flew away. Sima Yue heard their words through the Scarlet Bee and was speechless. Could it be that they were really from the Beast clan and didn't have brains? This clearly wasn't the effect of the remains, all right? Looking at how happy they were, it really made one. Little Dream saw those people laughing so happily, and the evil aura in her eyes became stronger. Back then, after they destroyed the Nightmare clan, they also laughed so wantonly on her clan's land, declaring their victory. Thinking about those who had died, she clenched her fists. She swore that she would kill these people with her own hands. Her nails dug into her palms, and fresh blood dripped down, just like her heart. Little 7 was beside Little Dream and felt her pain. She pried her fingers away and said, don't be sad. We'll be with you. They've gone far away. Follow them. Sima Yue waved her hand, and everyone followed the Devil Wolf clan from afar. During this period, the Devil Wolf clan went through 2 battles. One was with the Devil clan, and the other was with the Ghost clan. Both ended in their victory. From this, one could see how strong their battle strength was. After following them for 2 days, she finally found an opportunity. The Devil Wolf clan met with a human powerhouse. Coincidentally, that powerhouse came out from the canyon in front. During the battle, those people accidentally said something about retreating into the remains, letting the Devil Wolf clan know about the canyon in front. The scarlet bees had already discovered the canyon. Sima Yue was worried about how to trick them into the canyon. It was really like someone giving her a pillow when she was sleepy. Let's go ahead and set it up first. Sima Yue took out a one-time use array and brought everyone to the canyon. I'll go set up the array. Sima Yue threw the people on the canyon and went to set up the array on both sides of the canyon. She first set up a dragon trapping array. She wanted these people to not be able to leave once they entered. Then, she set up an illusion array and put enough poison at the entrance. As long as those people entered and the dragon trapping array was activated, the poison would spread. Yu, what kind of poison did you put in? Little Seven ran to Sima Yue and asked. A poison that will let them enjoy. Sima Yue said. Is it the poison that poisoned Wyong Palace last time? No. Sima Yue kept the jade bottle. This is the upgraded version of that poison. That one can only be used against humans. This one will definitely make the Devil Clan and Ghost Clan surrender. When everyone saw Sima Yue like this, they all had the same thought. In the future, they should never provoke an array master or poison master, especially a petty and evil one. Chapter 1139. CPA 300_4. After Sima Yue had arranged everything properly, she brought everyone to the side of the cliff. She used a small array to hide them and waited for the Devil Wolf clansmen to come in. Half a day later, the scarlet bees guarding outside sent news that the Devil Wolf race had arrived. Sima Yue immediately activated the small array, completely concealing their figures and aura. Soon, they saw the Devil Wolf clan members running overexcitedly. Ha! Is this the canyon those humans were talking about? This is part of the ruins? Why does it look so ordinary? Have you forgotten what the humans said? There's an illusion formation outside. We have to break it before we can see what's inside. We don't know anything about formations. How can we break that illusion formation? We don't understand formations, but we have power. Smash it. Smash everything outside. Let's see how long that formation can last. Yes, we have the power. Go smash all these things. The people of the Demon Wolf clan were all excited. They condensed their magic power and turned the stones and flowers outside into ashes. The Devil Wolf race could not see Sima Yue, but Yue and the rest could see the Devil Wolf race clearly. The corner of her mouth couldn't help but twitch as she watched the demon wolves attack in a disorderly manner. Fortunately, the array she had set up was relatively sturdy. Otherwise, with their disturbance, she would not be able to open it. She injected some spirit energy into the array to activate it. After the magic energy dissipated, another scene appeared in the canyon. What a dense demonic aura. Could it be that the Emperor here is really from the demon race? Haha, if that's the case, then we can use everything here. Quick, let's go in and see what treasures are inside. The demonic wolves rushed into the canyon. When they were all in the canyon, Sima Yue activated the dragon trapping array. Once the dragon trapping array was activated, the illusory array completed its mission. The scene in front of him instantly disappeared, and so did the dense demonic chi. What's going on? Demon Wolf looked at the changes around him and was astonished. Young Patriarch, it's a formation. They raised their heads and saw a layer of ripples on top of the canyon. The same was true for the entrance and exit. Clearly, the entire canyon was enveloped by a formation. Who's messing around? Maroon Wolf shouted as he looked into the sky. Junior Valley Master, there is no demonic chi here. We have been deceived. This young master knows. Maroon Wolf roared at the clansmen. If he still couldn't tell that they had been deceived, then he didn't need to stay in the devil realm anymore. Who's behind this? Demon Wolf's men shouted again. Sima Yue undid the array, and they immediately saw the figure on the cliff. Who are you? Why did you scheme against us? Maroon Wolf asked. You may not know us, but you should understand when you see her, Sima Yue said and moved aside, revealing Xiao Meng behind her. The moment he saw Little Dream, Winged Wolf was shocked speechless. Dream, nightmare beast. Maroon Wolf, do you still remember me? Xiao Meng coldly looked at him. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. You are that nightmare beast. Maroon Wolf remembered that when he was young, he had seen his clansmen dissect her with others. So many years had passed, but she was still the same. She was still the same in his memories. It's rare that you still remember me. Impossible. Weren't you suppressed? How could you be here? Maroon Wolf shouted. I have to thank you for suppressing me in the human world. Otherwise, how could I know my master and save me? Xiao Meng coldly laughed. Humph. Even if you have an undying body, with a human as your master, do you think you can beat us? Maroon Wolf saw that Sima Yuyue's group didn't have many people and they weren't very strong, so he didn't put them in his eyes. After a short moment of shock, he returned to his usual arrogant self. What did we say that we would fight with you? You idiots! Little Seven placed her hands on her hips with a look of disdain. You want to use this array to deal with us? Maroon Wolf said, What? Do you want to use this to trap us for a lifetime, or do you want to come in and fight with us? Seeing Sima Yuyue and the others above, he guessed that they wouldn't come in. If they came down, they could catch them all in one fell swoop and then slowly break the array. You want to use reverse psychology to lure us down. It's a pity that it's useless against us. Sima Yue said. Maroon Wolf's eyes narrowed. It seemed like these people were planning on wasting time with them. You guys go and break the array for me. He ordered the clansmen beside him. Yes, young clan leader. Those people flew into the air and attacked the array. However, no matter how much strength they used, they couldn't break the array at all. After attacking a few times, those demon wolves felt dizzy. Their stamina was depleted, and they fell to the ground with a dong sound. Useless things. Maroon Wolf didn't think that there was anything wrong with those people. He pointed at the other clansmen and said, You guys go. Those clansmen went up to attack, but like the others before, they fell down after a few attacks. Useless things. You guys go up. Maroon Wolf roared. Young clan leader, I feel like something is strange. A person beside Maroon Wolf said. What's strange? Maroon Wolf asked. The clansmen we brought in are all very strong. It's impossible for them to become like this after just a few attacks. That person said. Maroon Wolf calmed down and thought about it. It was true. The demon wolf clansmen couldn't be so weak that they would become like this after just a few attacks. Go take a look. What's wrong with them? Yes. That person went to check and came back, saying, Young clan leader, they should have been poisoned. Poisoned? How could they have been poisoned? Are you sure? No, they really were poisoned. Ha, ha, ha. Little Seven's voice came from the cliff. She covered her mouth as she laughed. We just wanted to see when you guys would realize that you were poisoned. You really are a group of idiots, taking you this long to realize that you were poisoned. The demon wolf clansmen's faces changed. Not only did these people trap them in the array, they even poisoned them. They were already prepared. What kind of poison did you give us? It's a poison that will make your entire body weak, and you won't be able to use your magic. However, it won't take effect that quickly at first, but once you use your magic, it will take effect faster. Sima Yue explained. Once she said this, those who were preparing to use their magic to attack quickly retracted it. Even Maroon Wolf was the same. Hee hee, you group of idiots. Even if you don't use your magic, this poison will take effect in half an hour. It's already been 10 minutes. You still have 10 minutes of free time. Little Seven kindly reminded them. Chapter 1140. CPA 300_4. Little Seven's words caused the expressions of the Devil Wolf clan members to change. They were all poisoned? Impossible. They were the valiant Devil Wolf clan. So how could they be poisoned by a human? You don't believe me? Little Seven said. You can try circulating your magic and see if you could be like those people. No one tried. They subconsciously believed Little Seven's words. In order to prevent the poison from taking effect prematurely, none of them moved. What do you want to do? Winged Wolf asked with a dark face. Do you still need to ask? Little Seven had an expression that said, An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Whatever you did to Little Meng back then, you'll have to pay it back today. How dare you? Why wouldn't I dare? Do you think that this is still the demon realm? Do you think it's still under your rule? Nightmare beast, if you dare to kill us, my Devil Wolf clan will not let you off. Even if you hide in the human world, they will dig 3 feet into the ground to find you. Maroon Wolf threatened. Really? Then let them dig 3 feet into the ground. Sima Yue said, perhaps, before they can dig 3 feet into the ground, we will have already attacked the Devil Realm and destroyed your nest. You should worry about yourselves now. Maroon Wolf looked at Sima Yue. He didn't know why, but when he looked at this weak human, he felt a chill in his heart. Could it be that he was really going to die here today? Little Meng, it's almost time. Sima Yue said, be careful. Okay. Little Dream nodded and was about to fly down. Wait. Sima Yue pulled her back and took out Ling Long. Let her accompany you. Ling Long flew out of Sima Yue's hand and rubbed against Xiao Ming. Little Dream grabbed Ling Long and flew down. The dragon trapping array allowed entry but not exit. When Little Dream flew in, the ripples moved and then calmed down. The members of the Devil Wolf clan looked at her warily. When she took a step forward, they took a step back. Nightmare Beast, I advise you not to act recklessly. You know my Devil Wolf clan? I know. Of course I know that your Devil Wolf clan is cruel by nature and will not shrink from any crime. Their favorite thing to do is to exterminate other people's clans. Little Dream said, but so what? You've already killed all of my clansmen. Do you think you could destroy my clan a second time? As she spoke, she waved Ling Long in her hand, and Sword Chi spread out, killing those who had fallen to the ground. Nightmare Beast, don't be impulsive. Let's talk things over. With the passage of time, they now felt that their movements were slowing down and their magic power was obstructed. Facing Little Dream, even with so many of them, they were powerless to fight back. Talk nicely? Back then, when you exterminated my Nightmare clan, did you ever think that we could talk things over? Back then, you conducted thousands of experiments on my body and skinned me alive over and over again. Have you ever thought of talking nicely? It was the first time Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao heard Little Dream talk about what happened back then. Thinking of the scene she described, they couldn't help but tear up. They simply couldn't imagine that she watched her clansmen die because of her. She was skinned alive over and over again, but she couldn't die. Little Dream was so young back then. How did she survive? Little Dream didn't say a word. She waved Ling Long once, and a group of devil wolves died under her sword. Fresh blood splattered on her face and body. That fierce gaze made her look like she crawled out from hell. Back then, you couldn't kill me, and you couldn't take out the things in my body. You sealed my strength and memories, and then suppressed me in the Yilin continent for hundreds of years. Have you ever thought of talking nicely? Little Dream waved her sword again. Now, you tell me we can talk things over. Tell me, how should we talk things over? When Little Dream recovered her memories, Little Seven wasn't by her side. She didn't see her crazy look. Hearing her say this today, she felt that her heart was going to break. Little Dream, don't kill them with one strike. She stomped her little feet and flew down. She came to Little Dream's side and looked at those people. Killing them with one strike is too easy for them. I'll go to. Hua Hua also flew in and stood on the other side of Little Dream. No matter what you do, count me in. Although the name Hua Hua was given to her by Little Dream, and she always felt that this name was too low, it didn't erase the friendship between them. Little Dream looked at Little Seven and then looked at Hua Hua. She nodded and said, Little Seven is right. Killing them like this is too easy for them. I said an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I can't let you die so easily. Right, Maroon Wolf? Maroon Wolf saw Little Dream's bloody smile and wanted to retreat. However, because his body was numb, he fell down. You, what do you want to do? He trembled as he asked. Didn't I say it already? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Whatever you did to me, I will return it to you bit by bit. Maroon Wolf thought about how he had seen her being dissected alive by those people. He was so scared that his face turned white. He shouted, No. You think I'll stop just because you say no? This isn't the time for you to have the final say. Little Seven went up and stepped on his chest, saying, Humph, how many times did Little Dream say no in the past? Did you agree? Don't ask others to do what you didn't do in the past. Ha! A vine appeared in Hua Hua's hand. With a wave of her hand, the vine viciously whipped those people. Are we going to dissect them? I don't have a knife yet. Yu. Little Seven raised her head and shouted at Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked at her silly appearance and speechlessly shook her head. She took out 2 daggers and threw them over. Hua Hua waved her vine and it wrapped around the 2 daggers, pulling them back. She gave one to Little Seven. Ling Long twisted her body and turned into a dagger as well. Now the 3 of them each had a dagger. Then let's begin. Little Seven looked at Little Dream and retreated to the side. This person who had hurt Little Dream before naturally had to be dealt with by her own hands. Little Dream slowly walked over and squatted down beside Maroon Wolf, playing with the dagger in her hand. Don't worry, Ling Long is very sharp. Although it's going to cut through your body, you definitely won't feel any pain. Those organs of yours, even if I cut them all off, they'll still look like they're connected. Maroon Wolf's body began to tremble as he heard this. He finally understood the expression that little girl had when she had laid on the chopping board that year. That was fear, despair, pain, and struggle. But what he didn't know was that after being tortured hundreds and thousands of times, when she saw those daggers again, that feeling was doubled. Chapter 1141. Little Dream placed her left hand on Winged Wolf's stomach, and with a thought, a ball of flame instantly wrapped around his upper body, burning his clothes clean. Who would have thought that this demonic wolf's humanoid figure was actually quite attractive? It was a pity that such a good figure did not attract their attention at all. PFFF, without any warning, Xiao Meng stabbed the dagger into his chest. Rip, Little Dream held the dagger and pulled it from his chest to his abdomen. Blood continued to gush out, but there was no more blood to be spat out. Winged Wolf's mouth was agape, and his eyes were wide open. He couldn't believe that he had really been disemboweled. Back then, you cut open my stomach like this. Xiao Meng said, Look, I still remember how you handed them a knife and how you stood by the side and asked why there was nothing in my stomach. Maroon Wolf's eyes finally turned. He looked at Little Dream's angry eyes and remembered the first time he had seen them dissect Little Dream. Rip, similarly, the sound of our body being cut open was exceptionally clear in the dim room. Little Winged Wolf leaned over and saw Little Dream's empty stomach. He asked curiously, Clan leader, why is there nothing in this person's body? Because she has already been dissected by others too many times. They have removed all her internal organs, and they have yet to regrow them. An old man said, Her internal organs are gone, so why isn't she dead yet? Little Winged Wolf asked, Because there's something in her heart. That thing can guarantee that no matter what kind of injury she receives, she will not die. The Devil Wolf clan leader said, And shall we take that thing out? I can't. Every time it approached the heart, it would be blocked by an invisible force. Therefore, we can't move her heart, and she won't die. At this time, Little Dream opened her eyes on the chopping board. Little Winged Wolf would forever remember those eyes. So clear, so pained, so desperate, PFFF, Xiao Meng stabbed down and pulled hard. His liver was pulled out by her, followed by his internal organs and intestines. Back then, you thought it was fun that I didn't have any internal organs. Today, you should also experience that feeling of emptiness in your stomach. The light in Winged Wolf's eyes slowly dissipated, and the life force in his body also quickly drained away. He was not Little Dream. He did not have Little Dream's undying body. Little Dream's internal organs were gone, but her heart was still hanging, waiting for the other organs to be reborn. As for him, without her, he had nothing. When Maroon Wolf took his last breath, a white light flashed, and he returned to his original form, a giant demon wolf. His eyes were wide open, and he died with his eyes wide open. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that his trip to the immortal realm would cost him his life. And in the Devil World, in the Devil Wolf clan, the shattering of Maroon Wolf's life card caused a huge commotion in the Devil Wolf clan. Blood tracking break. A stream of energy was injected into the shattered life card, and an image appeared in front of everyone. Everyone was shocked when they saw the little face covered in blood on the screen. Patriarch isn't that. That person couldn't finish his sentence. They were all too familiar with that face. Nightmare Beast. It really is a nightmare beast. Patriarch. Isn't that nightmare beast suppressed in the captive continent? Why would he appear in the immortal realm? Isn't that obvious? He must have been saved by someone. Patriarch. Should we tell this news to the other powers? No. The Patriarch waved his hand. Why? Did you notice? The nightmare beast has been contracted by someone. The Devil Wolf Patriarch said. It seems so. Wasn't she unkillable before? Now that she has contracted with someone, I want to know if that thing is stronger or if the contract is stronger. If her contracted master was killed, would the nightmare beast, who had an undying body, die? If she died, wouldn't his Devil Wolf clan be able to obtain that treasure? That treasure that was rumored to be able to rule the entire devil world. According to the information of the two people beside him, find out who contracted the nightmare beast. The Devil Wolf Patriarch ordered. Yes, Patriarch. Also, be careful not to be discovered by the other powers. Understood? We understand. Patriarch, rest assured, we will be careful. You may leave. Yes. Poochie. The image suddenly disappeared, but it had already been engraved into everyone's hearts. They were so shocked by the news of the nightmare beast that they even forgot that their young patriarch had been killed. Little Seven looked at Ching Yi, who suddenly made a move and blinked, asking, Ching Yi, what's wrong? There's a secret technique on the corpse. The other side will see the scene of his death through the secret technique. Ching Yi explained. He didn't care if Little Dream was seen or not, but he didn't want others to see Little Seven. That means the other side might already know that Little Dream has come out. Jiang Junxian said. Sima Yue also knew this. If the other side didn't use a secret technique, Ching Yi wouldn't have found out. You're not worried? Jiang Junxian asked. What's there to worry about? Sima Yue said, not to mention that they can't come over now. Even if they did, would we be afraid of them? Even if they don't come, we will find them one day. Her words made their hearts tremble. Her confidence made them feel that if those people came to find her, they were simply seeking death. What should we do with the remaining people? Do we really have to wait for them to all be disemboweled? Su Xiao asked. Of course, if we don't let them do it, they will make a fuss. Sima Yue said dotingly. How long will that take? Don't worry, they're very fast. Sima Yue said with a smile. They didn't understand what she meant at first, but then they saw how crazy the three of them were. In less than half an hour, they disemboweled all the wolf clansmen. This efficiency, Han Miao Shuang and the others stuttered. After dealing with the last demon wolf, Hua and Little Seven came to Little Dream's side and asked, do you want to clean up the corpses? According to past experience, Little Seven's cleanup was to burn them all with fire. Little Dream thought about it and shook her head. Let them be a warning to the other demon clansmen. Let them tell those people that I'm back. I will take revenge on them one by one. All right then. The demon wolves were all dead. Sima Yue released the array and they returned to the cliff. I'll go and remove the array first. In order to prevent the demon clansmen from shifting their attention to them, it was better to erase all traces here. After cleaning up, they received a call for help. Boss, help! Chi Wei shouted from the Mother Sun Stone. Sima Yue heard that there seemed to be a huge battle at the Mother Sun Stone. Chapter 1142. Read 336. Sima Yue was speechless. This request for help was too unreliable. If she hadn't followed them here, who would they have asked for help? For the sake of treasure hunting, I can disregard everything, she said. Boss, I'm doing my best to stay alive. But if you don't come, we'll all be dead. Chi Wei shouted. Seeing how your voice is so loud and clear, and how spirited you are, it should be enough to deal with those people. Sima Yue said this, but she took out a scroll and started reading. Boss! Chi Wei was on the verge of tears. People were dying around him, and even his master was heavily injured. All right, stop acting like that. Where are you guys? Sima Yue asked. How am I supposed to know which direction it is? Chi Wei said. There's no reference point here. Then look at your shadow. Is it long or short? Which direction? Sima Yue asked. Northwest. The shadow is only a foot long, Chi Wei said. All right, I got it. Sima Yue cut off the connection with him and looked at the position of her own shadow to determine the location of each other. Their shadows were facing the southeast. The shadows were not long, which meant that the sun was between them and they were not far away. They're in the northwest of us. According to the distance, there should be more people here. They should be here. Sima Yue pointed at a bunch of red dots. Very likely. Let's hurry over, or they'll be done for. There's no rush. Sharpening the blade won't delay the work of cutting wood. What are you going to do? Han Miaoshuang asked. Sima Yue took out a pile of array stones and said, This is when the role of an array master is revealed. Without the formation, it's like abandoning the plane to take the green train. Plane or train? Everyone looked at her. What was going on? Cough, cough. That, I'll tell you next time. Sima Yue said, Let me set up the array first. Setting up a teleportation array at this distance was a piece of cake for her. It took her less than an hour to set it up. Can this bring us there? Little Seven asked. We don't have the exact coordinates, but we can get a rough estimate based on the distance and direction. Sima Yue said, We can at least shorten the distance by half. All right, the formation is done. Let's go. The group of people entered the array. After Sima Yue activated the array, they all disappeared. Due to the exhaustion of their spiritual power, the formation stones had all turned into powder. Not long after they left, a group of demons passed by. When they saw the disemboweled demon wolf clan, they turned pale with fright. The devil wolf clan was a clan with very strong fighting strength. Now that they were all killed by someone, and in such a way, it was unknown who they had offended, especially the internal organs that were thrown all over the ground. Even as demons, they couldn't bear to look at it. Boss, should we teach them a lesson? One of the lackeys asked. Clean up what? Wasn't the demon wolf clan very arrogant in the demon realm? Then let them stay here for a few more days. Someone will collect their corpses. Boss is right. Not only will we not collect their corpses, when we go back, we will spread their faces. It would be strange if the demon wolf clan didn't suffer from internal injuries this time. Boss is wise. Then let's go. If those people come back and kill us all, that would be terrible. Right. Let's hurry and leave this place. If even the demon wolf clan can't deal with them, then we definitely won't be their match. Wait a moment. Use a recording stone to record this place. When we go back, we can show it to others. That so-called boss took out a stone and injected magic into it. He recorded the scene here, especially a close-up of wolf wings. After that, he left with satisfaction. Sima Yue and the rest came out of the array and realized that the red dot on the scroll was beside them. This meant that they were less than 100 kilometers away. There's a strong energy fluctuation over there. Little Seven sensed it and said, Let's go over and take a look. Sima Yue called out Chong Ming and flew in that direction. Very quickly, they saw the intense battle situation. Even though they were far away, they could see the heroic sword sect and a few other sects fighting with a group of spirit beasts. Wait, Qing, he said. Sima Yue immediately stopped Chong Ming. What's wrong, Qing Yi? Those spirit beasts, their bodies don't have life. They aren't real spirit beasts. Qing Yi said, They're fake. Fake. Qing Yi nodded. As a tree of life, whether there was life or not could not be hidden from him. So you're saying that these spirit beasts were created by those people? Jiang Junxian said. Sima Yue looked around and said, If these people wanted to create and control these spirit beasts, they wouldn't be too far away. Go and find out where those black-robed people are. Move quickly, they can't hold on much longer. Thousands of scarlet bees flew up and flew in all directions. Senior sister, go and help them block for a while. Before we get rid of those people, these spirit beasts can't be killed. Sima Yue said, Okay, take this. Sima Yue took out a few thunderbolt bombs and handed it to them. This thing is fun. Let's go. Han Miaoshuang took the thunderbolt bombs and went over with Su Xiao Xiao and the others. Let's go too. When the Scarlet Bees found those people, they would have a tough battle. The heroic sword sect people could not hold on much longer. It wasn't that they were not strong enough, but these spirit beasts could not be killed. They were constantly using up their stamina and spirit energy, and these spirit beasts would revive after being killed. They cannot be killed at all. If this goes on, everyone's spirit energy will be used up. Zhou Lan led a group of disciples and surrounded a few masters who were heavily injured in the middle, confronting those spirit beasts. Qi Wei, didn't you ask Yu for help? Can she rush over? Yu Qing asked. Now, Sima Yue was their last hope. Let's not talk about whether or not she can rush over. Even if she can, with their strength, they might not be able to deal with these people. A disciple from the heroic sword sect said, You don't understand her. As long as she can come, she will definitely save us. It's all our fault. We didn't believe you. A few elders were injured and were surrounded by disciples to protect them. But if they were injured, how long could these disciples last? If they had believed Blue Blade's words before they came in, they would not have encountered such a situation. They were all mesmerized by the word ruins. Master, don't worry. Boss said she will come, so she will definitely come. As long as she comes, we will be saved. Qi Wei said. These people did not have much hope. It was not that they did not believe in Sima Yue, but these spirit beasts were too strange. Who could deal with something that could not be killed? Chapter 1143. By the time Han Miao Shuang and the others arrived, more than half of the heroic sword sect members had died. The remaining ones were still stubbornly resisting, but it was obvious that they wouldn't be able to hold on for long. In the distance, another large group of spirit beasts came out. Looking from afar, they were densely packed. When the heroic sword sect members saw those spirit beasts, their hearts were filled with despair. Right now, the spirit beasts were already too busy to fend for themselves. Now that so many of them had arrived, they were afraid that they would really die here today. These spirit beasts really look alive. Han Miao Shuang's crisp voice fell into the ears of the heroic sword sect members. It was simply the sound of nature. Boom! Boom! A few thunderbolt bombs were thrown over, and the spirit beasts behind were directly blown into thin air, greatly relieving the pressure on this side. Qi Wei and the others looked over, but they only saw Han Miao Shuang and the others. They didn't see Sima Yue. Where's boss? You want to look for the source. Everyone, come back and stay away from these spirit beasts. Han Miao Shuang and the others flew in and fought the spirit beasts with them. The people from the heroic sword sect knew the power of the thunderbolt bullet. They called back their spirit beasts and ran towards the back. They ran, and the spirit beasts chased. The spirit beasts gradually gathered together. So obedient, Han Miao Shuang smiled and took out a few thunderbolt bombs to distribute to everyone. Then, she injected spirit energy into them and threw them at the spirit beasts. There were a few more deafening explosions, and those spirit beasts were thrown to the ground. After this round of bombardment, more than half of the spirit beasts were killed. However, new spirit beasts soon appeared. F***CK, are you done yet? Qi Wei shouted. We won't be able to kill all these spirit beasts if we don't take care of the people behind them. Han Miao Shuang said. Little friend, what do you mean? An old man asked. To put it simply, this isn't a relic at all. It's a man-made space similar to an illusion. In this space, those people can create whatever they want. These spirit beasts didn't have any life force and were created by someone. As long as that person didn't die, these spirit beasts wouldn't die. Got it? Those people nodded. If only we had believed you earlier. Blue Blade's master sighed. But when did you find out? We only suspected it at first, but we didn't know what it was. Han Miao Shuang said. Later, after you went in, another group of black-robed men came. We saw them dig out the Rubik's Cube sky, and it just so happened that Junior Sister knew about this, so we completely understood what was going on. If these people had believed them a little and hesitated a little, today's incident wouldn't have happened. Unfortunately, they had all been blinded by treasures and opportunities, and no one believed their words. The Heroic Sword sect members were ashamed, but since things had already come to this, there was no point in regretting. It was a pity that so many sect disciples had died. The spirit beasts disappeared, Han Miaoshuang said. At first, only 1 or 2 disappeared. Later on, they disappeared in droves. In the end, not a single one was left. Seems like little junior sister has already settled those people. Han Miaoshuang took out the mother-son stone and contacted Sima Yue. Wait here, we'll be right there. Before Han Miaoshuang could speak, Sima Yue's voice was heard. They waited for a while, and Sima Yue, Little Seven, and the others brought 2 black-robed men over. These are the people in Command C. Su Xiao asked. Nope. Sima Yue threw the 2 of them to the ground. The people in Command C are dead, or else these spirit beasts wouldn't have disappeared. These 2 are his lackeys. Qi Wei and the others jumped down, wanted to take care of these people, but they were stopped by Sima Yue. I haven't gotten any information out of him yet. If you kill him, will you compensate me? Hearing Sima Yue's words, Qi Wei decisively gave up, turned around, and ran to Sima Yue, saying, Boss, I knew you would come save us. Sima Yue saw his flattering smile and pushed his face away, saying, Didn't I say to settle things on your own? If I didn't come in, who would you ask for help? We had no choice, we could only try. I didn't expect it to work, Qi Wei said with a smile. The few elders from the Heroic Sword sect came over and bowed to Sima Yue, Han Miaoshuang, and the others, saying, Thank you, little friends, for saving us. The disciples of the Heroic Sword sect are eternally grateful. If you need anything in the future, the Heroic Sword sect will definitely help. Sima Yue didn't take these elders' words to heart. Although she saved them, she didn't think that people who only wanted to find treasures would really be grateful to her. She saved them just to save a few of her friends. However, since they said it so courteously, then if there's anything, I will definitely help the Heroic Sword sect. Han Miaoshuang saw Sima Yue's courteous words and came over to ask, Little junior sister, what did you do for these people? Nothing much, I just stopped them from killing themselves temporarily. Sima Yue said, Then do we need to interrogate them? No, we'll leave these 2 people to the Heroic Sword sect. I think you'll want to know more than us. Sima Yue said, Now that the danger has been resolved, we'll take our leave. Those elders opened their mouths, but because of their feelings, they didn't dare to speak. Boss, aren't you coming with us? Qi Wei asked what everyone was thinking. I still have things to do. Now that you know what this place is, you should know what to do. Sima Yue said, If you find out anything from the interrogation, please spread news. After all, there seems to be a big why plotting behind this immortal land opportunity. Goodbye. After speaking, she and Han Miaoshuang jumped on a Choming's back and left without looking back. Master, what do we do now? Master Blue Blade sighed, saying, Since there's no historical remains, let's go out. Bring these 2 people along. We'll ask them what's going on outside. Yes, Master. After Sima Yue and the others flew far away, Han Miaoshuang couldn't hold back her curiosity, saying, Junior sister, you're just going to give them away like that? Aren't we going to interrogate them ourselves? These people are all death warriors. Even if we interrogate them, we won't be able to get anything out of them. Sima Yue said, I've already gotten the information I wanted. You've already interrogated them? The information from the interrogation might be fake, but their memories won't lie. Sima Yue laughed evilly. What did you do? Actually, it's nothing much. I just used my divine sense to enter their consciousness and walk around. Only someone with your abnormal mental strength would dare to do such a thing. Sima Yue laughed. This was all thanks to the realm she comprehended previously, which allowed her mental strength to increase by quite a bit. She could directly enter a living person's consciousness. Chapter 1144. Then what did you find in those people's sea of consciousness? Su Xiao asked. They're just small fries. They don't know anything about the organization. Sima Yue frowned. That organization is very strict. Everyone only listens to the orders of their superiors, and they know very little about what to stop. All the actions could only be known at the time, and they had been wearing masks to isolate the divine sense, so they were not familiar with each other. Only people who spend a lot of time together can tell the difference. So you're saying that you didn't get any news? Han Miaoshuang said. Yes, there are still some details that I need to analyze before I can come to a conclusion. Sima Yue said, but they do know something about this incident. What do you have? First of all, this Rubik's Cube is controlled by several people. The one that was killed by Little Seven was one of them. If we want to solve this problem once and for all, we have to get rid of all the people who are controlling it. Sima Yue said, that's easy. As long as he could find them, everything would be settled. What else? Also, it was this organization that was responsible for the killings. Sima Yue said, they organized a competition called the Immortal Land Massacre. A few groups were sent out to see who could kill the most. As expected, it was done by this organization. Han Miaoshuang said, then what happened in Cloud Sea City, was it done by them as well? It's not in their memories, Sima Yue said, but it's highly possible based on their way of doing things. Immortal Land Massacre, this is interesting. Jiang Junxian said, but they shouldn't be just a simple massacre, right? Are they being framed? That's right. Sima Yue said, different groups set up different forces. The group in our area set up your mythical dragon sect. As for who the others are, these people don't know. Who exactly is this power? To be able to do something like this, the average power in the inner regions wouldn't be able to do it. Han Miaoshuang said. Everyone was silent. None of them had an answer to this. Let's settle the things here first. We might be able to get more information later. Sima Yue said. This was the only way now. Since they had a target, they also had a direction of action. Once they killed the people controlling the Rubik's Cube would automatically be broken. From the memories of the man in black, she knew that there were a total of 5 people controlling this place. After entering this place, they were in charge of the east, south, west, and central areas. They had just killed the one in the west, and now there were still those in the east, south, and central areas left. The person in the middle was the strongest, so Sima Yue did not dare to provoke him. She had to deal with the other 3 first. Therefore, in the next few days, Sima Yue and the others managed to get rid of the men in black in the 3 directions and save many people from other forces. Some of these forces had been warned by Sima Yue before, but they didn't take heed and were defeated. After being saved by Sima Yue, they felt ashamed. The best that Sima Yue saw were the people from the 100 changing doors. Compared to the other powers, they were still rather calm. However, he still couldn't get rid of those pestering spirit beasts. These spirit beasts are so strange. No matter where we teleport to, they will catch up very quickly. Dewey said, really, we didn't even see the ruins, and we're being pestered by these spirit beasts. I don't think this is the ruins at all. Little Wei said, Yue is right. This is a fake ruins. It's a pity that we didn't believe her. If it wasn't for her warning us, we would have been killed by those poisons. Dewey said, in the end, we didn't listen to her advice. Little Wei sighed. Luckily we have enough arrays, or else these spirit beasts would be enough for us to deal with. They're here again. Can't they let us catch our breath? Little Wei shouted. They had just come out of the array for a while and hadn't recovered their spirit energy, but these spirit beasts were chasing after them again. They had arrays, but did these spirit beasts have arrays as well? What a pain in the ass. They had already used up all their spirit energy, and now that they had recovered a little, they had used it all to activate the teleportation array. What would they do when they ran out of teleportation arrays? All right, let's not talk about that. Let's quickly think of a way to get rid of these spirit beasts. Dewey said, how we get rid of them? If we use a teleportation array to leave, they'll catch up again. Even if we leave again, they'll still catch up. It's useless. We have to think of a way to get rid of them completely. Little Wei said, but these spirit beasts can't be killed. I thought of something, but I don't know if you guys have. Dewey said, what? Rubik's Cube Sky. Dewey said, what? That thing. Isn't that thing already lost? But this and that are too similar. If it's really that thing, then we have to find the person who controls C, or else we won't be able to get rid of these spirit beasts. I also think that these spirit beasts are man-made. Heavens, if it's really that thing, we're in trouble. Once they were targeted by the person who controls the Rubik's Cube sky, if they didn't get rid of them, things wouldn't end. We still don't know where that person who controls C is. We still have to find him. Dewey said, "All right, you guys are the most knowledgeable about this. Tell us how we can find those people. We've already used up all our spirit energy. What can we do even if we find them? If we can't beat them, we'll still die." Dewey's words made everyone silent. That was the truth. Even if they found those people now, they wouldn't be able to beat them and would still die in the end. Little Wei saw something in the bushes and suddenly laughed. "Haha, we might not die. What's wrong?" "Scarlet Bee. Yo-Yu's Scarlet Bee. That means she's nearby." Little Wei said excitedly. "Isn't it just a junior? Look at how excited you are." He just wait and see," Little Wei said with a smile. They escaped 2 more times, but when the spirit beasts caught up again, they suddenly disappeared. "Gone? Looks like the person who controls them has been killed. It must be Yo-Yu's doing," Little Wei said. "Teacher Little Wei, you really believe in me." The space tunnel opened, and Sima Yue walked out with a few men in black. "Yue, it's really you," Little Wei said. "I knew it. You would definitely be able to handle this. You guys believe in me too easily. What if I didn't kill that person?" Sima Yue said. "We still have some understanding of you," Little Wei said. He was referring to the fact that they had broken the array together. Sima Yue threw them to the ground and said, "All right, I'm here to tell you guys something." Chapter 1145. Read 336. Sima Yu's straightforward manner caused the members of the 100 Changing Doors to be stunned. "Ahem, what's the matter?" Dewey was the first to react and asked, "Take a look at these 2 people. Do you know them?" Sima Yue kicked the 2 people beside her and sent them to Dewey's side. They leaned over and pulled down their masks, shook their heads, and said, "None." Sima Yue did not find it strange. Since this force was so careful, they probably wouldn't let anyone catch them. "Are these the people who control the Rubik's Cube?" Little Wei asked. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. They knew about the Rubik's Cube sky. Then it would be easy to deal with what happened next. But when he thought about it, the 100 Changing Gate used to be the founder of array formations. If they didn't know about it, who would? "Yes," Sima Yue said. "This is also the reason why I'm looking for you. What do you want us to do?" "I learned from the people I caught before that there are a total of 5 people controlling the Rubik's Cube. They are distributed in the north, south, east, west, and center. The person in the center is the strongest. We can't beat him." Sima Yue said, "That's why I want you guys to get rid of that person together. Then, the Rubik's Cube will naturally be solved." "What about the people in the other 4 directions?" "We've already taken care of them," Sima Yue said. "It's all settled?" "That's right. You guys are from the south. You guys were the last to be defeated." Sima Yue said, "Now we're only left with Central." The people from the 100 Changing Doors were stunned. While they were running for their lives, this guy had secretly saved quite a few people. "Little friend, you are truly astonishing," an elder from the 100 Changing Gates said. "Since you've already dealt with the north, south, east, and west, then leave the middle to us." Sima Yu smiled lightly, saying, "All right." With a sect, she wouldn't need to do anything. The reason why the 100 Changing Doors had been so passive before was because they didn't know what this place was. Now that they knew, it was time to take the initiative. She took out a few pills and explained, "These are pills for recovering spirit energy. The people from the 100 Changing Doors had already used up most of their pills." Just as they were worrying about the pills, they didn't expect Sima Yue to deliver them. "Since little friend has pills, we won't be courteous," that elder said. "How can I not recover my spiritual energy to deal with that man in black?" Sima Yue said with a smile. They ate the pills and sat down to recover their spirit energy. Sima Yue, Little 7, Qing Yi, and the rest were chatting a little further away. After a while, Big Wei, Little Wei, and the elder walked over. "Teacher Big Wei, Little Wei." Sima Yue stood up. Although their last meeting at the academy had been rather unpleasant, from the way he interacted with the 100 changing doors, he could tell that they did not spread the news that the formation book was in his possession. You, this is our elder, Elder He. Big Wei said. Nice to meet you, Elder He. Sima Yue bowed to He Ming. You little friend, it's all thanks to you this time. If you didn't get rid of the person controlling us, who knows what would have happened to us? He Ming looked like the Methriya Buddha, and even when he smiled, he looked like he was not affected at all by the previous incident. You're too kind, Elder He. We're looking for you this time because we have some matters. Elder He said, Big Wei, I think it's better if you say it. Sima Yue looked at him and blinked. Why did the three of them look a little embarrassed? You, aren't you a pill master? Do you have any extra pills? In the end, it was Little Wei who spoke. Pills? Yes, we've almost used up all our pills to recover our spirit energy. We don't know how long we'll have to stay here. So, if you have any extra pills, can you sell some to us? Little Wei said. Once he opened his mouth, it wasn't that difficult to say, but he still felt a little embarrassed. Sima Yue thought it was something serious, but it was just about pills. She took out a pile of pills and said, You can take these. I don't have many other things, but I have quite a few pills. Cough, cough, that we have a lot of people. It meant that these weren't enough. Then I'll refine some more. Sima Yue said. She winked at Big Wei and Little Wei as a way of thanking them for keeping it a secret. We'll give you some compensation. He Ming said, We'll pay according to the price of the pills outside. Sima Yue thought about it. If she didn't ask for money, they might feel uncomfortable. So she nodded and said, Okay, I'll get my seniors to refine it together. Han Miao Shuang and the others were nearby. When they heard Sima Yue's news, they rushed over. They thought that something had happened, but when they found out that it was just refining pills, they lost interest. Sima Yue pulled them to the side and said, Do you know the 100 changing doors? I know. Isn't the founder of Arrays? Han Miao Shuang said, You mean Teacher Big Wei and the others. That's right, they're from the 100 changing doors. If we refine pills for them, not only can we get money, we can also build a good relationship with the sect. Why not? Sima Yue said. Thinking about it, the three of them agreed without hesitation. Actually, Su Xiao and Han Miao Shuang agreed. Jiang Jun Xian, who wasn't interested in anything, was threatened by Han Miao Shuang. They spent a day refining hundreds of pills for the 100 changing doors. A large sum of money came in. People like the 100 changing doors didn't lack money. Because it wasn't enough, they agreed to go out and continue refining. Now, they were going to deal with the people controlling the Rubik's Cube. With the 100 changing doors taking action, Sima Yue could only watch from the back. The people from the 100 changing doors almost died previously, so they had a belly full of anger. Since they knew the source, it was much easier to get rid of them. With the scroll, it wasn't difficult to find the black-robed man. They quickly locked onto his position. Seeing the 100 changing doors people setting up the array, Sima Yue felt like her horizons had been broadened. The sect of the founder of this array formation was indeed different. Their array formations were set up faster and more stable than others. Seeing Sima Yue staring at them fixedly as they set up the array, He Ming raised his Methriya Buddha smile and tempted, You little friend, are you interested in joining my 100 changing doors? If you join us, you can learn many ways to set up arrays. Sima Yue chuckled and said, I'm used to being free. Large sects have many rules. It might not be suitable for me to join. Big Wei and Little Wei were at the side. When they heard her, they looked at each other and shook their heads helplessly. Chapter 1146. After the array formation was set up, He Ming chose some of the stronger people to go over first, and the rest would catch up later. Sima Yue and the rest were naturally the first to go over. When they came out of the array, she admired the 100 changing doors even more. Their grasp of spatial positioning was too good. The last time she went to save the heroic sword sect, she was almost 100 miles away. But look at him, he came out just a kilometer away from those people. Moreover, She believed that they had deliberately chosen this location to avoid being attacked by those men in black as soon as they came out. As soon as the 100 changing doors people come out, they attack those black-clothed people. Although the black-robed men were very good at controlling space, they didn't have much of an advantage in a fight. They needed a certain amount of time and a quiet environment to make things. The current situation clearly did not meet the requirements. However, the black-clothed men were not to be trifled with, especially the black-clothed man in the middle. He was even stronger. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the main controller. Give me some time. Sima Yue recognized the hoarse voice immediately. It was the person who had spoken at the entrance. The black-robed men understood that by stalling for time, he meant to let him create those undead spirit beasts. They attacked the 100 changing doors, vowing to stall for time. Sima Yue and the rest were at the back. They knew that something was wrong and hurriedly threw thunderbolt grenades over. What a joke! If those undead spirit beasts were created, they would probably fall into a bitter battle again. Those people were strong, but the power of the thunderbolt bullet was not weak either. Especially since Sima Yue's strength had increased, the power of the thunderbolt bullet had increased exponentially. Although the black-clothed man was not killed by the explosion, many of the people around him were injured. Furthermore, his actions were interrupted. If he wanted to create spirit beasts, he would have to start from scratch. The black-clothed man was so angry that he vomited blood, but now was not the time for him to be depressed. There were so many people in the 100 changing door, and there were still people coming over. If he could not create a spirit beast, then the ones to die today would definitely be them. The other black-clothed men also understood this, so even if they were injured, they still fought with their injuries in order to stall for time. Sima Yue saw that a single thunderbolt bomb was not enough to stop them. She took out a few more and gave them to Han Miao Shuang, Little Seven, and the others, throwing one each over. Boom! Boom! The consecutive explosions disrupted the man in black's actions. He was already suffering from internal injuries. Looking at Sima Yue and the rest, he decided to give up on his original plan and deal with them first. Otherwise, if he would do it again, just as he was about to succeed, he would probably suffer more than just internal injuries. Little Seven saw the black-robed man flying towards them and was about to get up to greet him when He Ming suddenly appeared in the middle and looked at the black-robed man with a smile. "Where are you going? Come, let's talk about life. Let's not look for those juniors." After saying that, he started fighting with the black-clothed man. Sima Yue looked at He Ming. Although He Ming was slightly weaker than the black-clothed man, he was very powerful in space. With the help of teleportation and spatial lockdown, the black-clothed man did not have the upper hand at all. The battle lasted for more than 2 hours. Sima Yue and the rest did not make a move. Occasionally, there were people who came to them, but they were all taken care of by Little Seven, Hua Hua, and Little Dream. "Explode!" He Ming roared. Sima Yue looked over and saw the space around the black-clothed man explode. He turned into a ball of blood. "Aya, don't smash his head." She rushed over and saw the blurry ball of blood. She wanted to beat her chest and stomp her feet. He Ming did not know why she was so agitated. He flew down and said, "Yue, my little friend, what's wrong? You turned him into a ball of blood. That means his memory is gone." Sima Yue said regretfully. It was not easy to meet a high-level one. She thought that he would be able to get more information, but in the end, he turned into nothing. Why didn't you say so earlier?" He Ming looked at Sima Yue's agitated expression and laughed. He said that he would go and take a look at the others and ran away. When the black-clothed man died, the Rubik's Cube stopped moving. Everyone's surroundings changed. They were still in the hills. There was no such thing as historical remains. No matter if it was the human clan, ghost clan, or demon clan, they finally understood that everything was just a trap. Some of the people who came out earlier had already left. Some are still waiting. For example, the people from the Heroic Sword sect. When they saw Sima Yue come out, they were relieved. However, they did not rush forward. Many of them did not understand the situation. They began to ask the people around them what was going on. After some explanation, everyone knew that they had just walked through the gates of hell. "Miss Sima, We will remember your kindness today. If there is a chance in the future, we will repay you. Goodbye. Many of them cupped their hands towards Sima Yuiwe before turning to leave. Of course, the people from the Demon Clan and Ghost Clan did not accept her kindness. They all left after understanding the situation. Only Deja's group remained in the distance. Blue Blade and the rest walked over. They looked at Sima Yue gratefully. Yue, thank you for this. I know what you want to say, so you don't have to say it. If there is anything in the future, I will get it back from you. Sima Yue said. That's good. Then we will take our leave. The people from the heroic sword sect were waiting for her. Seeing that she was safe, there was no need for them to stay. Very quickly, most of them had left. Only the people from the 100 Changing Doors and Ghost Clan were left. Ming, Big Wei, and Little Wei walked over. They looked at Sima Yue without saying a word. I will not give that thing to you. Sima Yue said, just because I saved you guys, you should give it to me, right? Hee, we did not say that we want the Rubik's Cube. Ming laughed. Sima Yue subconsciously took a step back and said, then why are you staring at me like that? You are making me nervous. He had always looked amiable and amiable. How could he make people panic? Could it be that his smile was not sincere enough? It should be. Thus, he made his smile even deeper. However, Sima Yue saw him like that and immediately turned around to run. She ran behind Qing, Yi, and Little Seven and stuck her head out to look at him. Ming could not even maintain his smile. He looked at Sima Yue with resentment. Why was this girl so afraid of him? This was not normal. What do you want? Sima Yue looked at him cautiously. When she saw him approaching, she quickly waved her hand and said, don't come over. If there is anything, just say it over there. That action, that gaze, Ming was completely hurt. Big Wei and Little Wei saw her like that and lowered their heads to fake a cough. They had already said that it was useless. The elder did not believe them and insisted on coming over personally. See, now he was hurt. Chapter 1147. Ming felt that he was no longer just injured, but seriously injured. Sima Yue looked at him and felt that she had overreacted. She coughed twice and said, well, Elder if you have anything to say, just say it. I actually just wanted to ask you, do you want to join our 100 Changing Doors? Ming said resentfully. Ahem, we've already discussed this question inside. My answer remains the same. Thank you for your kindness, Elder but Yue is really not suitable to join such a big sect. Sima Yue declined politely. Are you really not going to consider it? Ming was not willing to give up and try to persuade him. I really won't consider it. Sima Yue said, Elder the other powers have already left. Aren't you worried? If the opportunity is snatched away by someone else, it won't be worth it. Don't think that I don't know that you're chasing us away. Ming said, but forget it, since you don't mean it. I won't force you. However, if you have time in the future, remember to visit the 100 Changing Doors. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. If he went to the 100 Changing Doors, it wouldn't be fun anymore. All right, I'll definitely go and take a look if I have the chance, she replied with a smile. Ming looked at the Ghost Clansmen in the distance and said, they seem to be waiting for you. The Ghost Clansmen are not good people. Do you want to come with us? No need. Sima Yue shook her head. I have something to settle with them. All right then. Be careful. Let's go. Ming led the 100 Changing Doors men away. In a moment, only Yu and the Ghost Clansmen were left. Deja looked at Sima Yue and stood still. Sima Yue saw that they were not moving and looked at them cautiously. However, after 10 minutes, those people still did not move. It did not seem like they were going to leave or come over. Master, are you going to acknowledge her now? The person behind Deja asked. Deja looked at Sima Yue. He was in a dilemma. Should he confirm her identity now? That was what he thought. However, when he thought about what had happened in Bright Red Mountain Peak, he hesitated. Besides, how was he going to tell her that he was her brother? Because of his past experiences, he wasn't close to his peers in the family, let alone those who were related to him by blood. Now that he was asked to get close to someone, he felt that he couldn't speak. However, this person was his aunt's daughter, and he really wanted to talk to her. Master? Deja sighed, waved his hand, and said, "Let's go." Sima Yue looked at Deja, thinking about how she could snatch the 100 Ghost banner from him. Just as she was about to look for him, he left with the Ghost clan. Yu, they left. Little Seven said. I know. I saw it. And should we give chase? Sima Yue thought about it, but gave up in the end. She only let Chi Feng keep an eye on their whereabouts. She didn't have absolute confidence that she could make Deja hand over the 100 Ghost banner. If she went head-to-head, she might not win. Anyway, there was still a long time. She could take it slow. Right now, she was still thinking about the Rubik's sky. When Deja and the rest were far away, she jumped to the entrance and removed the array, revealing Little Rock and Thousand Resonance. Did anything happen to you guys? Little Rock and the rest stood up and said, We're fine. Almost no one noticed us, except for that Ghost clan, just now. The Ghost clan noticed you guys? There was one person who was very strong. It was the one who left a mark on your body. He used his divine sense to scan us, but he didn't say anything. It was as if he didn't notice us. Little Rock said, Then how do you know that he noticed you guys? Little Seven jumped down and asked. When his divine sense swept through this area, it stopped on us for a moment. He should have noticed us. Thousand Resonance said, That guy almost killed you before. This time, he noticed you guys. Why didn't he do anything? This is too strange. Little Seven said, It's not just that. Sima Yue squinted her eyes. When we met them this time, everything was strange. It was as if it was different from the last time. But what's different? I can't put my finger on it. Their eyes. Thousand Resonance said, I thought about it carefully. When we were at Bright Red Mountain Peak, they looked at us as if they were looking at prey or dead people. There was no warmth in their eyes. But this time, when they saw you, their eyes were different, especially the one in the middle. When he looked at you, it was as if he was looking at family? After hearing what Thousand Resonance said, Sima Yue felt the same way too. But why? Could it be that what she thought was true, that the Ghost clan in her body was related to him? When he lands in my hands, I must ask him properly. Let's not think about this now. Let's take a look at the Rubik's sky first. Sima Yue rubbed her palms together as she walked to the side of the Rubik's sky. She walked a few rounds around the 2-meter-wide turntable. Previously, she did not study this properly. She only thought a way to open it. Now, she had the time to study this properly. This thing had been lost for a long time. Even 100 changing doors did not have it. This showed how precious this thing was. This thing is huge, Little Seven said. Other than that, what other uses does this Rubik's space have? Didn't you read the book? This thing has a lot of uses, but we have to study it properly before we know what uses it has. Sima Yue said, but that ancient book did not explain it in detail. Hence, it was useless for her to have it now. But now was not the time to study it. With a thought, she kept this thing into her spirit pagoda. Yu, where are we going now? Little Seven asked. Sima Yue looked in the direction that Deja and the rest left and said, Senior brother, senior sister, I have to settle some personal matters. You guys, are you going to find the Ghost clan? Sima Yue nodded. Han Miao Shuang want to go with her. But Jiang Junxian spoke first. We also want to go to other places to see if there are any opportunities. Let's part ways here. All right. If there's anything, remember to contact me. Sima Yue looked at Jiang Junxian gratefully. She wanted to find Deja alone. She wanted to clarify the guess in her heart. Jiang Junxian saw through it. That was why he said that. Han Miao Shuang saw that Jiang Junxian had agreed. She nodded in agreement. She looked at Sima Yue and said, You have to be careful too. I will. The three of them left. Sima Yue brought Little Seven and the rest and flew in the direction that Deja and the rest left. Yu, why didn't you let Miao Shuang and the rest follow you? Little Seven asked, because there are some things that will bring them danger if they know about it. Sima Yu murmured, You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.